From the new Darling Stadium in Hampton, Virginia, WHCS Channel 5 presents Peninsula District Football. The Hampton Crabbers hosting the Warwick Raiders. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tim Cole along with Bob Hintz, and welcome to our game between the Hampton Crabbers, undefeated and ranked number 1 in the state, and the undefeated Warwick Raiders, ranked number 6 in the state. And Bob, we have a great game looking for us this afternoon.
I tell you, to be early in the season, this is the 4th game for both teams. To have this big a game, it really makes it exciting. We're going to have a tremendous crowd. The weather's beautiful. It's overcast. There's a nice breeze. It's not going to affect anything as far as the passing goes. But you have two teams, Tim, that are undefeated, and Warwick has not beat Hampton in a long, long time, and they're out for revenge. And Hampton's got quite a tradition going.
Of course they do, and of course the Hampton Crabbers, coached by Mike Smith in his 20th season, are looking for their 4th victory of the season, and they have not lost to the Warwick Raiders since 1965. So you know that the Warwick Raiders are going to be fired up for this game.
Well, they most certainly are. I got a chance to talk to Bill Lyons, and we'll see that interview later, but he's real positive with his kids. But Hampton on the other side's got a little bit of incentive. This is could be Mike Smith's number 200th career victory at Hampton High School.
Of course, the Hampton Crabbers, those of you that follow Hampton know that Hampton is undefeated and unscored upon. On the other side of the ledger, the Warwick Raiders are most prolific in scoring. They've averaged more than 40 points a game. So it's really kind of a battle of the big offense from the Warwick Raiders and the giant defense of the Hampton Crabbers.
It certainly is, and I look forward to a real good contest today, Tim.
It ought to be a great one. We'll be back with the starting lineups of today's game, but first let's go back in time, and Bob had a chance earlier to talk to Bill Lyons, the head coach of the Warwick Raiders.
Bob Hintz here with Coach Bill Lyons. Bill, congratulations on the season so far.
Thank you. We played well, and we're where we need to be, and this game is one of those games that has to be the next step.
Right. Tell me a little bit about your team.
Well, we've got several weapons. Marlon Hooker, Dedrick Rogers on the outside, Tremaine Jernigan, Melvin Haskett, Don Banks, a few others inside, Mario Haskett, quarterback. So we think we've got a pretty well-rounded offense. We can throw and run.
Well, you got some good kids at the skill positions, which helps.
Yeah. Well, and Marlon Hooker's a 4-year starter, and that's a big key.
Anytime you get a 4-year starter, that's good. You guys always come up with good quickness on your team. Do you do anything special?
A lot of our kids are track people. They're always into track, and plus it's just the kind of kids that we have speed seems to be one of those characteristics.
Well, that's good. Tell me what you expect from Hampton today, Bill.
We expect a hard-hitting game. We expect a power game. They're not a real fancy team. They never are. They do the things that they have to do to win. Fred Brown is a good trigger man. He can run. He can throw. They've got some kids that can catch the ball, and they got a few kids that can run the ball. So
right. I was noticing in the article in the paper where you saying the reason Hampton does so well year after year is the coaching staff.
I think there's a lot of tradition there, and I think a lot of it carries over year to year. A lot of the boys that are helping Mike right now are former Hampton graduates.
Right.
And it's just it's one of those things. It's a community thing, and I think it has a little more tight-knitness to it than what we have yet to develop in our community. We're working to do that, but being the type of community that we have to deal with mixed populations from various parts of the city, it doesn't lend itself as well as to a homogeneous.
Well, I know you've been there for 10 years, and I just want to congratulate you on the fine job you've done. You've done a real good job bringing that Warwick program up. In fact, you're the crown in the Newport News system, and my congratulations on that.
Thank you. Since Charlie Nuttycombe retired, I've become the dean.
There you go. Good luck today.
Thank you much.
Okay, Tim, back up to you.
All right, and we appreciate Bill Lyons taking that opportunity to talk with us. Of course, the Warwick program has been very successful in recent years, and of course, Bill Lyons in his 10th year.
Right, and and I told him, I said, you're now the dean of coaches out there in Newport News, which he alluded to because of the retirement of Nuttycombe. But I look in the stands, Tim, and they're starting to fill up. You see a lot of red and white on this side, and you'll see a lot of maroon and white on the other side. It's going to be a great game.
It really is, and we're moments away from the start of the game. But right now, let's go back in time again, and Bob had a chance to talk to Mike Smith, the head coach of the Hampton Crabbers.
Mike, congratulations on the season so far. Is everybody healthy?
Well, yeah, seemingly so. The kid who got hurt the first game, he's still not at full speed, Shelley Ellison, but otherwise we're pretty healthy.
Okay, Warwick, I was talking to Bill Lyons earlier, and he commented on the reason that you guys do so well each year is because of your coaching staff.
Well, it's the other guys. They do the work, We work hard, We've had good athletes. Kids work extremely hard for what they get. Put a lot of hours in, a lot of preparation, and we've had some success with it.
Tell me what you expect from the Warwick team today, Mike.
You never know. If they do the things they've done before, they like to run the inside trap, outside dive option, speed option. They've been throwing the ball very well. The quarterback's very good. This Hooker kid, number 1's a real fine receiver, just well to the ball in the air. They've been going deep with the ball a lot, deep outside routes. So they've made some big plays, in all the games they played in.
Well, they've scored a lot of points, and I haven't kept up with them as how they scored them, but that's from what the articles in the paper said. It's been a lot of big plays.
They scored a lot of points.
Yeah, they really have. Well, good luck to you today, and it's a fine day for a ball game.
It is. Beautiful weather out here.
Good enough. Mike, see you later. Let's go back up to Tim.
And we're back at Darling Stadium. There you see the officials for today's game, and we are happy to announce that we will have a microphone on the referee, so he'll be able to give us a detailed account of the happenings as they occur. You have a chance to run down the names of the officials. There we see.
And you can see Mike Robinson is the official, is the referee. Bill Bullock is the umpire. Bob Thompson is the linesman. Larry Turlington, the line judge. And James Young, the back judge. We do appreciate their Bill Robinson having that mic, because that helps us when there's a controversial penalty or something.
As you heard from both of the coaches, this game, of course, is of paramount importance. It is a battle for first place in the Peninsula District. Both teams are undefeated in league play and overall play as well at 3-0. Actually, Hampton is 2-0 in the district, while Warwick is likewise. To tell you how they got here, Warwick defeated Maury 24-13. They defeated Gloucester 57-13, and then they shut out Lafayette 47-0. While the Hampton Crabbers defeated Green Run 23-zip. They beat a very tough Kecoughtan team 14-0, and they trounced Lafayette 35-0. So with similar foes, the only common opponent being Lafayette, Hampton beat them 35-0, and Warwick beat Lafayette 47-0. And of course, there you see the Hampton Crabbers coming on the field. And momentarily we'll have the officials meeting at the center of the field with the captains from both sides of the team. And we'll have the toss of the coin to determine who is going to receive the ball to open this ball game. And we do want to welcome the viewers in Newport News on Channel 36 to our telecast, and we are happy to say that you will be joining us today, as this game will be seen in both Hampton on Channel 5 and in Newport News on Channel 36. So welcome aboard.
Yeah, and we'll also like to announce that we are going to be giving a plaque and a shirt to the Hampton School player of the game, and want to apologize to the Newport News system. It's just something that we set up through our through WHCS Channel 5 for the Hampton schools only. We got permission from Earl Gillespie up to VHSL to do this, and when we got a chance, the night's plaque, or today's plaque, will be awarded to the player of the game. Was donated by DC Engraving and is a sample of metal photo. DC Engraving is located in York Village Shopping Center on Route 17 in Grafton.
There we see the co-captains from both teams. You see number 1 and number 2. That's Marlon Hooker and Melvin Haskett. Let's go ahead and listen to Bill Robinson. Mike Robinson, excuse me.
Fellas? This is Captain Thompson, Captain Cherry, Captain Cavanaugh, and Captain Williams. You guys shake hands. Let me tell you who your other officials are today. Mr. Bullock is going to be the umpire. He's in the middle. He'll be watching the blocking. Back over your shoulder here behind Hampton, we got Mr. Turlington. He's the linesman. He's got the clock. Mr. Young is the back judge on the passes. Back over the shoulder, Mr. Thompson is the head linesman. He's got the downs, okay? We're gonna flip this coin here. All right, Hampton is 1 to toss. Guys want to kick, receive, or defend a goal? You want to receive? Turn your back to that goal if you would. Warwick, you turn your back to this goal. All right, Hampton is 1 to toss, and they're going to receive on this end. Guys, let's have a good game.
And while we're watching them come off the field, let me also tell about the shirt that we're giving away to the player of the game. The shirts worn by our staff were also donated by Turner's Hardware and Sports Place. Turner's has a convenient location, Willow Oak Shopping Center. Turner's also has 2 other locations. One's in Denby Hardware Sporting Good, located in Denby Square, and the newest store, Sports Place, located in the shops of Hampton Harbor next to Hampton University. Stop and see them today for all your one-stop sports store.
The Hampton Crabbers will receive to start the ball game. Back deep for Hampton will be number 33, Deshaun Merrill, along with number 9, Sean Hamlet. And to the near side will be number 7, Reggie Terry.
Deep receiving for Hampton, number 33, Sean Merrill. Number 9.
Tremaine Jernigan has the ball teed up for the Warwick Raiders. And we're about set to get this tremendous clash of a ball game underway as the Hampton Crabbers and the Warwick Raiders are underway. It's a short kick, and the ball is going to go out of bounds at about the 25-yard line of Hampton. And they'll make the Raiders re-kick the ball.
It'll be a 5-yard penalty. He'll take it back to the 35.
The Raiders, as we mentioned, averaging more than 42 points a game while allowing just 8 points a game average. While the Hampton Crabbers have been unscored upon, they have done a pretty fair job of scoring themselves, averaging 24 points a game. So when I mentioned earlier that it's the offensive Hampton, rather the offensive Warwick against the defensive Hampton, that's not totally conclusive in the fact that Hampton can definitely put some points and yards on the board.
Well, they most certainly can. They have a bevy of running backs. They don't have just one running back. They have quite a few of them. And they'll run them in and out and send in plays, and coaching staff is going to be well prepared, I know, because I have talked with the Hampton staff. They are well prepared for today's game.
All right, we've got it teed up again, and it's again a short kick taken at the 20-yard line. And Reggie Terry stumbled at the 30 and went down, and I'm hopeful that he gets up. He's all right. He's getting up very slowly. He looked like he might have turned his ankle, and that's exactly what it appears. He's going to come off the field. All right, here we go. We'll run down the Crabbers offense for you.
Center is Anthony Cherry. The guards for Hampton are Myron Newsom and Tyrone Tynes. The tackles, Gene Bowers, John Cavanaugh. At ends, Mario Gatling and Wayne Spencer. The quarterbacks is Fred Brown. Fullback, Sheldon Snow. Tailback, Vic Williams. And the flanker is Reggie Terry, who just got hurt.
All right, he will come out of the ball game, and on the initial play of the game, Hampton hands the ball off. Gain of about 3 or 4 yards. Vic Williams carries the ball for the Crabbers. And now let's give you quickly the defense for the Raiders. The tackles are Lyons and Accurso. The ends, Davis and Barnes. The linebackers, Talley and Taylor. The corners are Rogers and Haskett. The halfbacks are Banks and Yarborough, and the safety is Watson. So the Crabbers now are going to have to automatically, almost instantly, have to do some adjusting because Reggie Terry twisted his ankle on the return. It appeared that he had some running room, and he stumbled. He may have twisted his ankle when he put his foot down to cut. And that could be a serious problem for the Crabbers if he's not able to return. I see him on the bench, and he is most definitely favoring his ankle.
Well, and we have the trainer down there, Diane Limerick, who is the official trainer for the Hampton for the Hampton Crabbers, and she is looking at his ankle. We don't have a shot of it right now. Maybe one of our camera people can get a shot of what's going on down there.
A momentary timeout for the setting of the down markers on the far side of the field. We appear to have everything set. 12-minute quarters in high school football. Gain of about 3 on the initial play. 2nd down and 7. Brown fakes. Play action over the middle. Just too long for the intended receiver, Sean Hamlet.
And he was wide open, Tim.
He had definitely had him open, but he couldn't get the ball to him. There you see Reggie Terry and Diane Limerick as Terry now appears to be trying to walk it off. It's his right ankle or knee that is being attended to. Here's the repeat of the previous play. And you saw Hamlet open, but Brown on the play action pass couldn't quite connect with him. And now we see a 3rd down and 7 for the Crabbers. Brown fakes, still has the ball, has a man open, completes the pass right near midfield, and it's going to be a 1st down for the Crabbers. Mario Gatling on the receiving end.
He also was wide open. Tim, we get a chance to look at the sideline markers and the 1st down markers. You'll notice they're bright colored, and these are brand new. First time they've been using this ball game. Watch this replay. Fred just goes back, sets up, gets good protection. Gatling breaks across the center, and he is wide open. And nice catch and toss.
4 catches on the season, 98 yards for Gatling. This is Vic Williams back to the live action, and Williams is across midfield, down close to the 42-yard line of Warwick. So the Hampton Crabbers moving the football initially here in the ball game.
Pick up of about 9 yards.
The Crabbers on offense average 14 first downs per game and over 200 yards rushing per game, a total offense of 281 yards, and they've only turned the ball over 6 times in a total of 3 games, while their defense has forced 13 turnovers from the opponents.
And 6 of those were in that Kickingham game.
Second down and short, second down and a long yard for the Crabbers. This is Shelly Ellison. He may have gotten the first down. It's going to be close.
I think where they spotted it, it's going to be short. He got back about to the line of scrimmage.
Check that. That's Eric Capehart that carried the ball, so they did not give him much forward progress. It turns out to be, as you said, Bob, exactly, third down and almost 2. And Capehart will come out of the ball game now. Sean Hamlet will come in with a play for Fred Brown, the quarterback. John Stein, the wide receiver to the near side. Mario Gatling, wide receiver to the left. Crabbers running out of the eye. And running room and plenty of it down the sidelines. Knocked out of bounds is Sean Hamlet, but not before getting a first down at the Warwick 25-yard line.
Well, that was nice blocking on the right side of that Crabber line. Those guys did a great job opening up that off tackle. It's just a power off tackle, and he had plenty of running room as soon as he got through the line of scrimmage. Watch this on a replay, Tim, and look at the hole open up there. Beautiful
just a
trap.
huge hole.
Number 70 for the Crabbers. John Cavanaugh did a great job of making a block.
First down for the Crabbers at the Warwick 25. This is Vic Williams into the middle of the line down to the 21-yard line, a pickup of about 4. Sean Hamlet on that previous run, he averages a little more than 4.5 yards every time he carries the ball.
Gain of almost 3 yards by number 5, Williams. Stopped by Lyons of the Warwick Raiders.
Vic Williams is not a real big kid, but he is a hard runner. He's only 5'7", 160, but he's a real tough runner.
He averages 6 yards every time he carries the ball for the Crabbers. He's got 199 yards on 33 carries for the season.
There's a good shot of the coaching staff, Mike Smith, Alvis Mann, and Danny Mitchell right there on the sideline. If you can score first, excuse me, Tim, if you can score first, you really put the pressure on the other team, and of course that's what Hampton wants to do.
Pick up a 3 for Williams, second down and 7. This is Hamlin again, big yardage. Finally knocked out of bounds inside the 10-yard line, and about the 7-yard line, it'll be first and goal for the Hampton Crabbers.
Well, they have found something over there on that right side that is really working, but that right side of that line is really doing a good job of opening up holes. I'm real impressed with the blocking scheme up there. Now, Warwick had an extra week to get ready for this game because they were off last week. Watch this on a replay. Again, Cavanaugh makes a nice move. Number 30 makes a great block. Number 30 is Shelton Snow for the Crabbers. So got some good blocking that sprung Hamlet.
First and goal inside the 7. Brown gives to Vic Williams. Williams head down, pushing, still on his feet, finally taken down, but not before he gets to the 1-yard line.
And that kid is 160. He plays like he's 200.
He's 5'7" and 160 pounds, and you would have thought he was 260 pounds the way he wouldn't let him take him down. He moved the ball all the way to the 1-yard line, so the Crabbers now with 8:15 remaining in the first quarter. No score, but on the initial possession, they have driven all the way to the Warwick 1. Get a chance to watch the replay. Vic Williams hits the middle of that line, and you think he stopped right here. Look at him. He just, great leg drive.
He just ran right over number 34, James Talley, who was one of the linebackers.
Flags are down. Just as the ball was snapped, flags go flying, so the play will be probably nullified. The Hampton Crabbers are applauding, and apparently the reason why is it's going to be a penalty against Warwick. This will be half the distance, or a foot and a half closer. Let's listen to Mike Robinson.
If a dead ball foul, encroachment on the white.
Offside, Warwick, half the distance.
So Mike Robinson tells us encroachment against Warwick, so it moves half the distance, and it'll still be 2nd down and goal. And the Raiders, tough at that goal line, stack up Eric Capehart. He got little or nothing. In fact, he may have even lost a half a yard.
Capehart, stopped by the middle of the Warwick line.
And in fact, he lost more than that. He lost a yard, so it's back to almost 2 yards. Get a chance to watch this again. Again, that Warwick defense stiffens down near the goal line.
Well, you have less room and less room to cover, so defensively, you can afford to do some things a little tougher down there. But you hate to be in that defense because that means the other team's getting ready to score.
And in for the score from 2 yards out is Eric Capehart. So with 7:19 remaining in the first quarter, the Crabbers draw first blood as they take the opening kickoff and drive all the way down, a 75-yard drive. Welch will try the extra point. It is long enough, and it's good.
Well, he got that up quick, but he had to. There was a lot of pressure coming in on that extra point.
So the Hampton Crabbers take the opening kickoff and drive the length of the field. And we'll get a chance to watch the touchdown. You see the big Hampton crowd here on hand. Now and here is the replay.
And he goes over the left side this time. First time that they've gone to the left. And I'm sure Warwick was looking for the right people to the right.
$7:19 remaining in the first quarter. The Hampton Crabbers with Eric Capehart, and actually the running of Sean Hamlet set up most of this, as he had great success going off the right side. And Hamlet has picked up substantial yardage for the Crabbers here in the first quarter. And considering the fact that he's only carried the ball 9 times prior to this, that's quite a change for the Hampton offense. John Stein will tee the ball up for the Crabbers.
Kicking off for Hampton, number 1.
It's a low kick. It bounces around, and it's going to be fallen upon at the 20-yard line. So a very effective kick in that no one was able to return the ball for Warwick. Melvin Haskett was there to cover it.
1st and 10.
All right, there you see the Raiders on offense. The center is Accurso. The guards are Lyons and Lane. The tackles, Purier and Jones. The tight end is Davis. Split end will be Hooker. Quarterback is Mario Haskett. Melvin Haskett is one running back. Jernigan is the other, and the flanker will be Rogers. So the potent Warwick Raiders come to the line, the 20-yard line, trailing 7-0 here in the first quarter. Right side handoff, not much happening. That was Haskett giving the ball to his brother, Melvin Haskett.
And here's a Crabber defense. The guards DeBrew and Tucker. The tackles are Thompson and Burrell. The ends Newsom and McCorkindale. The linebackers Carper, Capehart, and Cherry. The cornerbacks Casales and Connor. And Sean Hamlet is the safety.
A gain of about a half yard. Let's call it a yard and make it 2nd down and 9 for the Raiders.
2nd and 9.
Well, they look like a gain about the length of a football, Tim.
Tyrone Davis sets up on the left side. Haskett fakes and keeps. This is Mario Haskett getting good yardage. And he's across the 30 to the 32-yard line. A fumble, do they say it was before or after the whistle will be the only question here. Crabbers, of course, pleading their case.
Yes, and he'd fumble the ball as he was hit, Tim. And that was a good call. And the one official was not sure, but as he was coming, and we'll see this on replay, our camera people do an excellent job, but this is just a quarterback keeper on the option play, and he tucks the ball away here. But right here he gets hit, boom, and out comes the ball. As you can see the ball come out, and number 9, Hamlet, is right on top of it. Big break for the Crabbers.
So Haskett, after getting
dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct on Warwick.
And I thought I saw a flag, and you heard Mike Robinson explain it. There will be a insult to injury here, as the Raiders not only will give up the ball, but now they'll give up a 15-yard penalty Apparently, someone did not agree with the call and expressed it in terms that was not acceptable to the officials.
Watch this fumble again, Tim. Right here, he gets hit, and you can see the ball squirting out as it's coming down right there. It's already on the ground, and Hamlet rolls right on top of it. Great camera work. Slow-mo Joe and our camera people. Oh, but don't give me any more of those hot sausages, Joe. I'm having a heart attack over here.
Brown pitches back to Vic Williams, and he is stopped after a short gain. In on the stop for the Raiders was Tyrone Davis, number 85. Excuse me, Reggie Austin, number 85.
I figured out the only way I can eat a hot sausage if I have a big boss to drink.
Well, let me tell you, you may not like them, but I think those hot sausages are fantastic.
Oh, I just said I like them. I just say they set my mouth on fire.
Next time you're out here at Darling Stadium, try one of those babies. I'll tell you, it'll light your eyes up.
Vic at the other end says, look at my head. His head gets sweaty when he eats one.
So the Crabbers get the break here. They've got it second down inside the 20. This is Hamlet, had great success early in the ball game here. He crosses the 15 down to about the 13. Sean Hamlet has been the workhorse here early in the ball game. Warwick defense only allows 8.6 first downs a game, and they only allow a total of 170 yards total offense.
Watch
89 yards a game rushing and 86 passing. There you saw Hamlet. And the Raiders defense has forced the opponent to commit 14 turnovers. So both of these teams knows how to make the other team turn it over. And we've got movement and a flag now. We'll have to see if this is going to be against Hampton or against Warwick. We had movement.
And he's calling it against the Crabbers.
So apparently someone in a three-point stance raised up. Illegal procedure against the Crabbers.
The dead ball foul. Snap infraction, Hampton.
We heard Mike Robinson explain it quite clearly. The snap infraction, the center apparently moved the ball before
Timeout, Hampton.
he should have, and now Hampton is going to call a timeout with 4:38 remaining in the first quarter. If you just joined us, you're watching the Hampton Crabbers and the Warwick Raiders. This game has been recorded on the 29th of September, 1990. I'm Tim Cole along with Bob Hintz. We are coming to you from the new Darling Stadium in Hampton, Virginia, one beautiful state-of-the-art facility.
Isn't this awesome? And it's such a beautiful day, too. And had you talked about who's giving us the statistics?
No, I hadn't. I was going to give you that opportunity.
All right. Statistics for today's game are being provided by Gary Moore of Computerland. Wallace Dooley, the CIAA Information Director, helps.
Of course, they're not here today.
Well, but I want to give
sure.
give them some airtime too. Conaway, HU Information Director, and we really want to thank Computerland for providing these statistics. This is really great. Gary is here by himself, but he will do a great job.
And he did want us to mention that, of course, he's a marketing representative for the company, and Annette Wilkins is the general manager. So we'll give them a nice plug as they have provided us with superb statistics. We'll be sharing those stats with you. Here's a replay of the last play before the penalty. This is Vic Williams as he hits the middle of that Warwick line, and for one of the few times there, the Warwick Raiders came up strong and were able to stop him cold in his tracks.
Well, you would think this would be a passing situation. It's 3rd and 11, almost 12. Your ball is on the 20. You want to pick up some yardage and have a good chance for a...
Brown feels the pressure, completes the pass at the 10-yard line, down close to the 5-yard line, the first down, and again, Mario Gatling with the big catch.
Well, it wasn't only Gatling did a good job finding a seam and finding opening, but I'm impressed with Fred Brown's agility. He saw a linebacker shooting a gap and coming right at him, and he made a quick move, and the linebacker fell down, gave him time to complete that pass. Big play.
Here you see a replay as Brown eludes the on-rushing lineman from the Raiders, and then on the run going to his left, throwing back across the middle. Gatling wide open at the 10-yard line, and then Gatling picks up another 6 yards on his own, and we're back to the live action. This is Capehart. Capehart dragging Warwick Raiders down to the 2-yard line. This is a battle for supremacy on the peninsula. The Crabbers, of course, ranked #1 in the state after the Woodrow Wilson Presidents were upset last week. Crabbers deserving of that ranking, and of course the Warwick Raiders come in ranked #6 in the state.
So we have two great teams here from the Peninsula District. The ball is on the 1-yard line.
And by the way, I don't count the Raiders out of this ball game yet. There's a lot of time left, and they've been on the wrong end here for the first quarter with 3:35 remaining, but I'm sure they'll be heard from before this game is over. Brown keeps the ball on the quarterback keeper. He's in for the score.
Well, that's one of the safest plays when you get down there on the 1 yard line. You don't hand the ball off. There's a very slim possibility of a turnover and a fumble, so that's a safe call, but it also a very effective call.
That touchdown comes after the turnover, and we've seen Hampton do this. They did it against Kecoughtan 2 weeks ago. Low snap, the ball is up by Stein. It goes through the uprights for the extra point. So the Crabbers go out on top 14-0, and again they show their killer instinct of being able to capitalize on a turnover.
Well, Tim, those centers, the snaps from the center on those extra points, a lot has to do with the holder, and the holder is Wayne Spencer, who is we know is a great baseball player for Hampton, but he's also proved that he's a good football player. Cousin of a young man who played linebacker for the Crabbers last year,
Brian Gerzak.
Brian Gerzak. But I noticed how good a hands that ball. He really catches the ball well and gets it down in position for the extra point attempt, and that's very important on a kicker. You got to have a good holder.
You just saw a replay of the touchdown. Fred Brown, the quarterback, scoring for the Hampton Crabbers. For Brown, that is his 4th touchdown of the season. And again, we thank our good friends at the Daily Press for all the statistics we are able to provide you, as well as both of the schools provide us with information as well. This is Hooker, Marlon Hooker, with a good return for the Raiders out across the 35, where the Raiders will have good field position, but they trail by 2 touchdowns here in the first quarter.
Well, Hooker did a good job of following his blockers that time. He let his blocking scheme set up and picked up an extra 5 or 8 yards just by being patient.
They marked the ball just shy of the Warwick 35-yard line. Quarterback is Mario Haskett. This is the play that worked well for the Raiders earlier and resulted in the fumble ultimately. This time, staying home and doing a nice job was Eric Capard as he stopped Haskett as he came along the line of scrimmage with the option play.
Well, he's one of the linebackers. The other linebacker, Anthony Cherry, both were there. But that time, I don't know if Hampton picked it up or not, but it looked like the Warwick Raiders got into an unbalanced line where they have more people on one side of the football than the other. Right now, they're lined up in an even front, 3 on each side of the center.
No gain on the play, 2nd and 10. Haskett drops back, passes, completes the pass for a short gain at the 37-yard line, and quickly in on the stop for the Crabbers, Myron Newsom, number 55, right there.
Well, he's a defensive end, and his responsibility is the flat on a passing situation. But you see the Haskett is a left-handed quarterback, so his move is to the left, to that right side of the Warwick side of the field when they're going down this direction.
3rd down and 10. And not much happening once again as the Crabber defense is just all over the Raiders right now. And Haskett had to eat the football, and we'll see the punting team come on. So the Hampton defense, which has been so predominantly strong this year, showing itself here in the first quarter with 1:35 remaining. Sean Hamlet will be back in deep punt. Check that to receive the deep punt.
Randy Harrell in punt position.
Harrell is in deep punt formation for the Raiders. The Crabbers almost got the block. It's a good kick. Hamlet will field it at the 27-yard line. He fumbles the ball and recovered immediately by Marlon Hooker of the Warwick Raiders.
That ball went right through his hands. He was probably worried about the oncoming tacklers and took his eye off the ball momentarily, but they were right through.
29.
Big break for the Raiders.
1 turnover apiece now. There you're going to see the replay. The ball coming down and just never fielded cleanly by Hamlet. Then, of course, he was tackled as they have the right to do so. And you saw the ball falling upon. So the Raiders get a break here on the play after that. We have a flag down in the backfield.
That could be holding. That's usually what happens.
No, we're Roughing the passer.
Roughing the passer.
Roughing the passer.
So the Crabbers with 2 errors in a row now. They fumble the ball, each team with 1 turnover. And on the incomplete pass, the Raiders will get a break here because one of the Crabbers roughed Haskett after he released the football.
Well, this should go about half the distance to the goal line, which will take it inside the 20.
Down, back up, man, back up. Right here. Mr. Brown. We have a personal foul, Hampton.
So you heard Mike Robinson, a personal foul. He indicated earlier a roughing the passer penalty. And now at the 15-yard line, it's first down for the Raiders. And a flag comes down. So we've got yellow hankies perpetually here in the first quarter, more than you might expect to see. And this one's going to go against the Crabbers. Another one. Now one of the officials coming over to the near sideline to explain to Mike Smith what this is all about.
We'll get it from Bill Robinson.
Mike Robinson. I've already made that mistake twice.
We have a dead ball foul, encroachment, Hampton.
So 2 errors in a row, or 3 errors in a row, just uncharacteristic of a Hampton team. And the Warwick Raiders are going to have great field position at the 10-yard line, 1st and 5. Elvin Haskett lines up directly behind his brother Mario. The pitch. This is Jernigan, and Jernigan is driven out of bounds after no gain.
Well, I tell you, Mr. Haskett got a real hit as he pitched that ball, and it was almost a fumble. And they ended up losing a couple of yards on that play. Brings up a 2nd and 6 instead of 1st and 5.
That was Tremaine Jernigan carrying the ball, 5.6 yards every time he carries. Here you see the replay. Haskett flipped it out there, and Jernigan really had some difficulty handling the ball. And then you stop and you hesitate like that against Hampton, you're not going to get much.
Oh, that's right. I admit I didn't pick up the number of the defender that caused that.
A rolling pocket. Haskett throws up a prayer. It's in the end zone. It's batted away. Incomplete. Deep in the end zone.
But when you bat that ball, you want to bat it out of bounds and not back into the field of play, and it was almost caught by number 1 Hooker.
Almost was exactly what happened. The ball was batted around, as you said. Good point. Now Hampton's going to call a timeout. That'll be their 2nd timeout here in the first half. With just 48 seconds remaining, Mike Smith will come out and talk with his team. Or then again, maybe he won't. He has stopped, and he wants to have a word with the official, Mike Robinson.
Watch the replay on this. Haskett goes back, sets up, he's getting some pressure, and he just really throws the ball up. And number 1 is way on the right-hand side, but the ball here is tapped down, and he almost comes up with the big play.
And our director, Scotty Bowers, was indicating to us to watch on the replay there. Hooker was wide open, not as deep in the end zone as the other player.
Well, the reason that Haskett couldn't get it, he was pressured and really didn't have time to look for anybody, just threw it in an area and basically threw it up and said, I hope my guys can jump higher than your guys.
Watch this again. You're going to see Haskett as he lofts it up. See there, right in the middle of your screen right there, you see Hooker wide open, no one near him, no one within 5 to 7 yards of him, but the ball has already been lofted towards the deep end of the end zone.
And that may be what Mike is talking to him out there now, that you have certain responsibilities, and there was nobody deep in that corner covering Hooker.
So it brings up a 3rd down and 6. The ball is marked at the Hampton 11-yard line. Of course, the Crabbers have not been scored upon so far this season. And, of course, they would like very much to keep that string intact. And, of course, Warwick needs desperately to get a score here and get back in the ball game. 14-0 the Crabbers with just 45 seconds remaining, and the ball goes incomplete as Haskett was roughed and rushed, and now a late flag comes down, and this is going to go against Hampton.
Well, that was a great play by Dwayne DeBrew and Anthony Cherry, and I can't believe they thrown the flag, but that happens.
Well, I'll tell you why they did. It's real simple.
Taunt.
You can't taunt your opponent, he did. Cherry got up and said something to Haskett, or at least it appeared that he did. And that's what the flag is about. Whether you agree with that call or not, I'm not going to dispute that, but that's what happened, unsportsmanlike conduct. We saw that last week in the game with Gloucester and Bethel.
Watch this great defensive play.
And boy, that's what it was too. Haskett here just never saw him coming. And he was decked.
Have a dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct, Hampton.
Now, it will not be a first down. It'll be 3rd down and 1. Let's check that. It'll be 4th down because it was a dead ball foul. Good point. It'll be 4th down and a yard to go. And now Hampton calls yet another timeout. This will be their 3rd timeout. And that'll leave them just 1 remaining. Actually, they'll have none remaining. It is 4th down and a yard. Mike Smith wants to discuss this. I guess from a coach's point of view, this is a very crucial situation.
Football, man! You're clean our rear ends off over here! Can you hear that? Don't look at me! That's what you play. Don't move here. I'm on. What's up, dude? What's up, dude? That's horse cold, man. We didn't cuss nobody.
Well, you have some problems sometimes with the guys get a little excited. And we saw that at least twice in the Gloucester Bethel ball game, where there was unsportsmanlike calls against a player who made a brilliant play. This is very important. You got about a yard and a half for the Raiders to get a first down. And Mike, of course, have used all 3 of his timeouts and it's still in the first quarter, but this is very important. You haven't been scoring on all year. You got some pride here with that defense.
Just 44 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. 4th down. The Raiders are not going for the field goal. They are, in fact, going to go for either the first down or the touchdown. They need to get across the 5. Haskett keeps it and gets the first down. He's down close to the 3-yard line. So Haskett followed his running back out of the backfield and the blockers to get the first down for the Raiders. And another flag is down. This one is going to be against, well, who's it against?
Unsportsmanlike against the Raiders.
The Raiders. Oh, what a big call that one is. So, you got to understand.
Excuse me, Sam. What's really big about it is the other one was half the distance. This one is 15 yards.
This is a huge penalty against the Raiders because they do get the first down. It'll be a dead ball foul. But here's the replay. Here you can see as he fakes the handoff to the running back and then follows him through that hole, Haskett, the quarterback, gets the first down. And then I think what happened was someone after this play said to Hampton, "See in your face," or something to that nature. And the referee being trying to be consistent. Here we go.
If a dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct, Warwick, 1st down and goal.
Now you gotta think that this is going to calm down. There's an awful lot at stake for both teams here, and of course, emotions are high, and you really can't fault the players for being emotional, but you can't be that way because you're going to hurt your own team.
That's true.
Here we see a different quarterback in for the Raiders. This ball's up for grabs. It's caught and intercepted at the goal line. Over there was Eric Cassels, number 8.
I'm sorry.
Cassels, number 8. Anthony Richards, who is the backup quarterback, threw it up, and that's only the 2nd interception of the season for the Warwick Raiders. That's, I should say, the 2nd time they've been intercepted.
Well, the field position is not advantageous, but your defense came up with a big play and stopped that possible score by the Raiders. And we got the clock is running with 18 seconds and counting in this quarter.
So the Crabbers dodge a bullet, and they will get the ball at their 5-yard line. Just time enough for one last play. This is going to be a running play. Vic Williams out to the 10-yard line. Crabbers need a little running room, and that'll be it for the first quarter. A long first quarter from the point of view of the Warwick Raiders, as they have seen the Crabbers go out on top 14-0. But I think we should see a little less of this after play going on here for the duration of the game.
Well, a little machoism, and you're trying to build your team up a little bit by showing Hampton, yeah, we can do it, and as you pointed out, all it does is it puts your team in the hole. And they had a first and goal, but they were back at the 20-yard line instead of up there at the 3 or 4 yard line.
Yeah, they had a first and goal to the 3, and then the penalty, of course, moved them back. And now the Crabbers, after the interception, that'll be the 15th turnover that the Crabbers have created against their opponents. They had 13 against 3 coming in, and that's the second time that the Raiders have turned the ball over. One of those turnovers led to a touchdown by the Crabbers. Mike Smith out on the field with his team with some instruction. And the Crabbers, interestingly enough, have used all of their timeouts already, and we've just completed 1 quarter.
But Tim, that's still not a bad thing, because what he did is he got his team settled down, and they came up with a big play, and it does a lot to your mystique and a lot of your pride if you can keep that other team out of the end zone.
Boy, can you imagine? I mean, the Raiders average 42 points a game, and we've got 3 quarters to go, but the Crabbers have come up strong so far. Second down and about 6 for Hampton. Ball is marked at the 11-yard line. Brown keeps, and he gets across the 10 to about the 11. Not much, maybe a half yard on the play. They mark the ball between the 11 and 12. Let's call it the 12-yard line. It'll be third down for Hampton now. Third down and about 5. A chance to watch this again as you look into the Hampton huddle from the ground level. Brown faked, had some blocking, but a good defensive effort by Melvin Haskett there. Number 2 stayed home and forced Brown inside, and then the play was finished off by the Raiders. Third down for the Crabbers. Long.
Yeah, I can hear something.
Fred Brown over center. Gives to Sean Hamlet. This play has worked well for the Crabbers, but not this time, as a good defensive effort as the corner on the left side there came up number 44, Antonio Banks, and he stuck Sean Hamlet big time. And there you see John Stein on the field.
Well, that brings up a punting situation for the Crabbers.
Stein is the punter for Hampton.
It was a great defensive play that time.
Stein hasn't punted often. He's only punted 4 times all year, but he averages 27 yards each time. He'll need a good one this time to keep the Raiders in poor field position. He's going to have to get off a good one. There's little or no breeze on the field. Stein has rushed. There are flags down. It's a good high kick. It's going to be let go by the Raiders. There was some confusion as to who was going to take it. And now there's no confusion about the run back, as Jernigan does a good job getting across midfield, but we do have flags down at the line of scrimmage.
And if it's against Warwick, and a 5-yarder would...
It's not. It's an illegal procedure against Hampton.
Oh.
So
well, if you're Warwick, you take the ball. You don't make them kick again, you take the ball.
Pretty good field position considering the punt. Stein got away a great punt, and then confusion in the receiving core for the Raiders caused the ball to go deeper than it might have, but they did in fact get a super return by Tremaine Jernigan, and now they're going to.
Oh, they are going to make
it do it again. I'll tell you why. I didn't agree with you, but I was going to see what happened. They're going to have him in his own end zone now. They might get a block on the ball. They might get a better run back. And it's not a very cool afternoon out there. These big linemen don't like to repunt those balls. And don't have to
illegal formation, Hampton.
So we have seen more than a share of penalty flags here in the first half. And the Crabbers now with Stein standing in the shadows of his own goalpost. We'll try again. He got a good one away last time. That one is negated by the penalty. And the ball is moved back to the 6-yard line where it's still 4th down and 10 for the Crabbers. He almost blocked. This was high. Stein gets it, and he has it blocked, and it's going to be a touchdown. So that's why you do it, Bob.
That was a good move. It really was. That's why I'm up here, not down there coaching.
Number 89, and unfortunately for the Raiders, I don't have an 89. But he is going to be the man who makes the touchdown. Blocked punt in the end zone. We'll research real quickly. Regardless of who it was, the Raiders have scored on a block punt. And with a 10:07 remaining in the first half, they now have scored for the first time against a Hampton team this year. The extra point kick is up, and it's good. So Kevin Perry kicks the extra point, and it's 14-7, just like that. Well, you know, it's a tainted score in the sense that the offense didn't score against the Crabbers, but of course it's a score nonetheless. And Hampton now sees that 14-point lead cut in half.
Well, that was a big play by the defense. I cannot find number 89 anywhere, so I have no idea who he is.
We've had a number change for the Raiders, and we'll hopefully during halftime we can find out for you who that young man is. But at the present time, we may get a chance to watch that again if we have it on replay, and we can see maybe we were incorrect, but I thought it was 89. It may have been 88. In the event that it was 88, it would be Gideon Mooring. So Tremaine Jernigan will tee the ball up for the Raiders, and they trail by just 14-7 now. Again, a relatively short kick, fielded at the 20-yard line. Returned by Ronald Hill, number 11 for Hampton, out to the 31-yard line.
Number 11 I have is Terry Connor for the Crabbers.
I checked that. Terry Connor is right. I just tried to see if you were paying attention.
Well, I'm glad you did, because that's hot sauce you're still working on.
33-yard line is where they mark it for Hampton. 9:55 remaining in the first half. 14-7, the Hampton Crabbers on top by a touchdown.
I tell you, penalties have really played a big thing in today's ball game.
Well, I'll say they have. And now the momentum starting to shift for the Raiders. Again, Vic Williams showing great determination in not wanting to be brought down, but he was stopped before that continuation of the play. The whistle had blown.
Well, the whistle had blown. I don't know that he had stopped.
They mark it at the 33. He is going to be ruled stopped in the grasp right there. Of course, his drive continued on, but the whistle had blown. Little or no gain, second down and 10 for Hampton. Brown spins, comes back to the near side, cuts back across the middle, and gets some real tough yardage, and that Warwick defense seems to be definitely bolstered by that touchdown.
Oh, I tell you, nothing will make a defense hit a little harder and come off the ball a little quicker than when your defense scores. You have scored, the offense hasn't, and boy, you just get a little more giddy up in your step there.
Third down and about 7 for the Crabbers. Fred Brown, the quarterback, completes 33% of his passes on the season, just 13 of 39 for 244 yards, and he averages a little more than 81 yards per game passing. Gatling comes to the near side. Stein sets up wide to the right. Brown fakes, still has the football, looks up in the middle for Gatling. Gatling was interfered with, and flags will come down.
Oh, man, he was leveled.
Right at midfield, Gatling.
I mean, 2 people hit him.
Gatling was upended by at least 2 Warwick Raiders, and Gatling is slow to get up as he really took a shot. Diane Limerick, the trainer, is out to attend to him. And as you will probably see in a moment here, he is shaken up. This will be a first down for Hampton.
And he is a big play receiver for the Crabbers. You hope that this was just a bruise or a strain and nothing serious. And that's good to see him get up on his own, but he was vulnerable when he went up.
Pass interference, Warwick, first down.
Watch this pass.
Brown does a good job again of eluding a on-rushing tackler, and right as the ball goes over his head, you know, that would be it would be a questionable, was it catchable situation, but because of the severity of the hit, I don't think the officials had any choice but to rule interference.
Oh, there was flags came from 3 different officials.
Yeah, there was no question about the contact, that's for sure. Inside handoff goes to Capehart. He picks up a couple of tough yards. It'll be 2nd down and 8 for Hampton. If you joined us late, you're watching the Hampton Crabbers hosting the Warwick Raiders. The battle for first place in the Peninsula District. These teams coming into the game both 3-0 overall and 2-0 in the district. Hampton scored on the opening kickoff on a 2-yard run by Eric Capehart, and then after a turnover on only the 2nd play by the Raiders, the Crabbers took it in 1 yard for Brown and was 14-0, and then a block punt in the end zone was recovered by the Warwick Raiders, and they have scored and trail 14-7. This is Williams, Vic Williams to the near side. Not much happening there.
Number 2 for the Raiders, Melvin Haskett, did a good job that time blocking, but I'm glad to see that Gatling is back in. He went back in on that play.
No gain.
No gain on the play. It'll be 3rd down and 8 for Hampton. 7:09 remaining in the first half. Noticeably absent in the lineup this afternoon has been Shelley Ellison of the Hampton Crabbers. I'm not sure exactly why. Ellison was hurt in the initial ball game for Hampton against Green Run and did return in the ensuing games. Brown still has the ball. He's got a man open. He finally spots him, but he throws it to the Warwick Raiders. He did not throw to the open man, and the Raiders with their 2nd turnover of the ball game.
And that was caused by the defensive line run Brown out of the pocket, and he was scrambling, and he just didn't get as much on the ball as he wanted to because he did have a guy wide open, but a big turnover for the Raiders.
Terry Connor, number 11, and I'm right on this number this time, was wide open. He was waving his arms frantically for Brown. You'll see Brown gets a lot of pressure as he drops back, and the Raiders, the offensive line did a good job for as long as they could, and then the pressure was felt. Brown, as he neared the line of scrimmage, you might have seen just out of your screen there, number 11, Connor was wide open, but the Raiders make the intercept. Pass completed far sideline, Melvin Hooker, or check that, Marlon Hooker. And he is up close to the 40-yard line.
Stop by number 11, Connor.
Well, you can see the Raiders look a lot more confident now when they come up to the line of scrimmage and are executing their plays. When your defense causes some big turnovers, that's really helps you.
That's just the first intercept of Brown all season.
Well, he threw that ball off the wrong foot. He didn't get as much on it as he wanted to.
They marked the ball squarely at the 40-yard line. It is a 1st down for the Raiders. Hooker comes in motion to the far side. Haskett throws for Hooker, and it's over his head. Defending on the play for the Crabbers was Sheldon Snow, number 30, but the ball was never really in danger of being caught.
It was too high that time.
So it stops the clock with 6:07 remaining in the first half. A 1-touchdown difference in the ball game. The Crabbers have seen the momentum shift since they had that punt blocked in the end zone. The Raiders come up with the interception, and they have it at their 40. Haskett. And then lateraling it, but down before he did so was Melvin Haskett. And now we have a late flag. Again, the extracurricular activity after the play continues for both teams. Haskett had been stopped on the option play.
Watch us on the option play. And you can see he comes down and hands the ball off, and he's tackled, and he's already down when he laterals the ball, and the number 33 picks it up. Gatling says, well, I'm going to make sure you're not going anywhere. And then the young man threw a fist, and that was what brought the penalty.
So tempers continue to run a little high for both teams. And the Raiders this time commit the mental error after the fact. They had picked up about 4 yards. The flags continue to fly here at Darling Stadium, and unfortunately it's marring what should be a much better ball game. We're going to return to Darling Stadium with more of the action, but first this brief timeout. Third down and 21. Haskett heaves it high over the intended receiver, Marlon Hooker, on the near side. It was never really a chance of being caught as the Crabbers had it defended well. And now, after that personal foul that moved the ball back against the Raiders, it's 4th down and 21, and we'll see the kicking team coming on for Warwick in the form of Randy Harrell. He'll be the punter, and Sean Hamlet will be the deep man for the Crabbers. Line of scrimmage, the 29-yard line of Warwick. 5:44 remaining in the first half. Hampton leading 14-7. Harrell gets the kick away and is going to roll and be down by the Raiders at the Hampton 41-yard line. So Hampton will have good field position to start this possession.
41-yard line.
Well, we got a great doubleheader coming up this coming weekend, Bob. We're going to have both Friday and Saturday night games, as all 4 city schools will be involved in the action.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that. It's that's always a nice big weekend for us. We enjoy the chance to come out and see both Friday and Saturday night ball games.
It's going to be Hampton and Phoebus and Kickintan and Bethel. It's going to be a good one. Fred Brown unloads. He's got Gatling open, but he can't get the ball to him. In fact, the ball was overthrown. Now a late flag comes down, and it looked like Gatling may have pushed off after the play had ended. It looked like it might have been some extra contact that wasn't necessary, but let's see how they call it. So the Yellow Hankies have been just flying all afternoon.
I tell you, that's kind of a questionable call there.
Let's see how they call it. Mike Robinson will tell us. Personal foul against Hampton. That's what it was. Now watch the replay here. You're going to see Gatling on the pattern. Brown will heave it up, and I mean, he just threw this ball probably as far as he can. I don't know if we'll be able to pick it up or not. But at the very end here, you see Gatling just gently shoved the player. It was so insignificant. It really was.
Yeah, and he may have just stuck his hand out to help catch his balance.
Well, it wasn't flagrant, for heaven's sake. I don't want to get carried away with this, but the
dead ball, personal foul, Hampton.
You know, the officials are trying to call the game tightly, and I can appreciate that. They want to make sure everyone's under control. But this is getting a little ridiculous on both sides.
I mean, you're going to have a little bit of contact out there, fellas.
Yeah. Brown on the delay. This is Capehart, Eric Capehart, across the 35 to about the 37-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and long, as the Crabbers need to get all the way to the Warwick 48-yard line for the first down. They've marked it at the Hampton 37. So now it's 3rd down and about 14. Here you see the replay. You'll see Capehart on the delay, the draw play, if you will. Eric Capehart does a good job of getting yardage here. Of course, it was 2nd and long, and Warwick was in a pass defense, I guess you would call it.
Oh, well, they were rushing because they thought for sure there was a pass, and that's, of course, the best time to call that draw play.
3rd down and about 14. Brown over the middle, has it almost picked off. Gatling was the intended receiver, but stepping in and almost grabbing the ball was Anthony Watson for the Raiders. He had a definite chance to make the interception, but couldn't hold on.
Well, had he not touched it, Gatling would have caught the ball because that was right on the money.
We'll see it again. Brown has plenty of time, finally unloads. And see right here, the ball in and out of the hands of Watson. Now Stein, back in deep punt formation, gets the kick away, a pretty good kick. Fielded at the 30-yard line. And that'll be it, about a 4-yard return for Jernigan. And another flag, a late flag down on the play.
Oh, yeah. Is it raining flags out here today?
This one's going to go against the Raiders.
I tell you.
We're going to have Gary Moore, our statistician, going to have to put another disc in his computer over there to keep up with these. And it's going to be a clip on the return. So a late flag.
Well, I saw what I thought was a clip, but it wasn't, you know, and about 5 seconds later, the flag comes out. So.
With clipping, Warwick, 1st down.
So they mark the ball at the Warwick 19-yard line. It'll be 1st down at that point. And the clock is restarted with 4:10 remaining in the first half. Tim Cole with Bob Hintz coming to you from the new Darling Stadium in Hampton. The Warwick Raiders ranked number 6th in the state, and the Hampton Crabbers ranked number 1. Hooker comes in motion to the near side. Mario Haskett is the quarterback. He gives off to Melvin Haskett, and Haskett is wrapped up as he barely got back to the line of scrimmage, if in fact he did.
Well, you'll see Capehart in the middle there, and Cherry, the 2 linebackers, did a good job of blocking that hole up.
I don't think we ever got a chance to mention the coaching staffs for both schools.
No, we sure haven't. If you want to, go ahead and mention the Warwick Raiders.
Yeah, let me do that real quickly. The head coach for the Raiders, of course, Bill Lyons in his 10th year at Warwick, Mike Feldman, Dion Ruffin, Thomas Jackson, Purcell Carter, John Wright, and Carone Lowe on the staff. Managers are Tyrone Ashley, Marcellus Harris, Chris Oliver, and Tim Royal. And we'll give you the Hampton coaches here in a minute. We apologize for not recognizing these 2 fine staffs earlier. Way out of bounds, the intended receiver is Hooker. He was defended on the play by number 11, Terry Connor of the Crabbers.
They sure did. Now, the coaches, of course, for the
Bob Hooker is shaken up on the sideline.
Well, he was, and we got Diane Limerick is over there checking him, but he did. He was watching that ball, and he was way out of bounds when he came down.
There's a ridge right along there as part of the track, the inside of the running track. And I almost stumbled over it twice myself. You get a chance to watch the replay here. Mario Haskett really throws up a bomb. And there you see Hooker as he went down hard just as he got to that out-of-bounds area. There was no contact between himself and Connor. But Hooker definitely took a fall, and he is being attended to, and hopefully he's just had his wind knocked out. Of course,
Hampton
hit your butt on the chair.
Trainer Diane Limerick is right there on the spot.
You can hear Diane Limerick asking Hooker if he's okay. Where does he hurt?
Right in here? Okay. You hit him. Yeah, you're another killer, Paul. You're all right. Come on.
So they're going to take a little time here to attend to Marlon Hooker. Hooker is a senior, 5'8", 165-pounder from Warwick High School, and we certainly hope he's going to be okay. Sorry to say, the first concern of the staff, of course, is to the safety of the player and their condition, and that was glad to see that Hooker is able to get up and trot off the field on his own. There is a ridge, as I said, along the track there that can be dangerous. Go ahead, Bob. We're going to finally mention the Hampton coaches here.
You got head coach, of course, Mike Smith, assisted by Danny Mitchell, Alvis Mann, Walter Brower, Lanny Franklin, Woodrow Wilson, Simon Gupton, Kenny Gilliam, and Joel Gray. Managers Joe Johnson, Jermaine Herbert, Neckbone Herbert.
Neckbone Herbert to you.
And, of course, the trainer is Diane Limerick.
All right, back to the game at hand here. 3:06 remaining. 3rd down and 10 for the Raiders. And now an official's timeout as they get everybody set. All right, we're ready to go. Haskett remains a quarterback. One lone setback. That's his brother, Melvin. Ball is too low for the intended receiver. Oh, no.
It's caught.
Oh, that ball hit the ground. All the Hampton fans on this side are livid about that. It looked like the ball one-hopped into his hands.
I couldn't tell, but it was bouncing. But that official was right on top of it. I don't know if we have it or we can slow it down or where we can see it to that point. You can see the ball coming in. And it definitely hits the ground. Oh, good call, Tim.
Well, I could be wrong because I'm certainly a lot further away from it than the official on the play, but it appeared to hit the ground and short hop into his hands. Hampton fans thought so too, but it's not important what they think or I think. The officials ruled a completed catch. Now this goes incomplete as the intended receiver is Dedrick Rogers out on the pattern. He was defended over on the near side by Anthony Cherry. And it goes incomplete. 2nd down and 10. The ball at the Warwick 34-yard line. I'd love to see that again, but it just appeared to me from this distance, which is considerable, that ball one-hopped.
Well, I saw that in the Kickingham ball game. The Kickingham receiver caught the ball on one hop, and the official ruled it a caught ball. So
2nd down and 10. 14-7, Hampton by a touchdown. Haskett has the ball on the option, cuts it back inside, does a good job of picking up yardage. out to the 41-yard line. It won't be enough for a first down, but the Raiders will have a third down and short.
Dwayne DeBrew came all the way from his
here's the
defensive end position to come over and make that stop.
If I can interrupt you, our director, Scotty Bowers, is going to try and slow this down as much as he can for us. There you see the ball. Well, that might have been a good call. It's just hard to tell from here. It looked to me like a short hop, but the officials, much closer to the play, called it a completed catch. Third down and 3 for the Raiders. Big third down here as 1:45 remains in the half, and this one is short hopped for sure, and another flag. So the saying of the first half would have to be a flag on the play. That seems like we could have held up a card that said that instead. It's unfortunate, but you see this happen sometimes.
Well, it looks like it's going to be against Warwick. I see Hampton Crabbers are clapping. Illegal receiver, that's what it was. I didn't think it was pass interference. Illegal receiver downfield.
So one of the linemen must have strayed downfield on the play, and they're debating it with the Crabber captain.
No, they don't want that. They want the ball.
Ineligible receiver downfield, Warwick. It's declined. Fourth down.
So Mike Robinson gave you the information, and you'll see the punting team come on now for Warwick. Sean Hamlet will go back deep for the Crabbers, and Randy Harrell will come in to kick it away for the Raiders. Harrell averages a little more than 30 yards a kick on the season. Just got that one away. It's a good kick. And Hamlet watches it take a great Warwick bounce as it will end up down inside the 15-yard line at about the 13. And that's where Hampton will start with 1:33 remaining in the first half and no timeouts remaining. Raiders have 3 remaining.
Well, that's not very good field position for the Crabbers, and I'm sure they want to try to get at least a first down and run this clock out. As you noted, the Raiders still have 3 timeouts, so if the Crabbers are not very successful in moving the ball, Raiders could still get the ball back with some time left on it.
Crabbers will start from their 13. This is Vic Williams. Williams across the 20 to about the 22. Picked up almost 10. And now the Raiders will call a timeout. As you mentioned, with 3 remaining, now they'll have 2. And of course, they want to stop the clock in an effort to get the ball back. With just 1 minute remaining, here you see a replay of this run by Victor Williams.
Vic does a good job of finding the hole that is opened by the Crabbers.
And they made a nice hole for him, too.
Real impressive, number 75 for the Crabbers, and that's Tyrone Tynes. All those linemen have been doing good jobs up there for the Crabbers, opening up the holes for Williams and Sean Hamlet.
There you see Capehart and Tarek Cassels on the sidelines for Hampton. This game, of course, was moved to a Saturday afternoon start, and the weather has been cooperated for sunbathers, but not particularly for football play, because it's in the, I guess, upper 70s, low 80s, and it probably is a little warm for the players. As the sun did reappear just before the game started, it had become overcast, but now the sun is out shining, and I would guess it's in the upper 70s, low 80s, probably a little bit uncomfortable. But when you've got a game of this magnitude, if you're a Hampton or a Warwick player, you don't even know whether it's raining or snowing.
That's right.
Just us old folks like you and me.
Well, I didn't want to say anything about that. You was talking about the that little ridge down there that you stumbled over a couple times. I was going to say you're not real fleet of foot anyway.
Brown carried for no gain, or at least a little of a gain anyway. It's going to be third down and about a yard for Hampton. Give them a yard gain on the play. Second down. Check that, third down.
If you're Hampton, you may just do a quarterback keeper here or sneak right up the middle. You pick up the first down. Pick it up anyway.
Got the first down and plenty more all the way out across the 35-yard line. And the ball carrier for the Crabbers that time, Deshaun Merrow, who has seen limited action in the ball game here. He had 74 yards in the first game against Green Run. Then he did not play against Kecoughtan, or certainly did not carry the ball at least. And then against Lafayette, he carried 4 times for 20 yards. So he's got a total of 94 yards on 14 carries, averaging more than 6.5 yards each time he runs with the ball. On the delay, this is the same Deshaun Merrow, a flag down. Merrow crosses midfield, but there is a flag down.
Well, if it's against the defense, then there will be another play. If it's against the offense and it's declined, and that's the end of the quarter.
It is against Hampton. It's a holding call against the Crabbers.
Flag on the play.
And that did elapse the time on the clock. Holding is the call against Hampton.
We have holding on Hampton. It's declined.
So Mike Robinson explains it for us. Holding declined, and that is the last play of the first half. So a long first half from the point of view of a lot of penalties and a lot of stoppage of play, but a successful first half for the Hampton Crabbers. At least they're up by 7 points, but Warwick kind of took the momentum and took it back in the second quarter.
Well, they most certainly did with that blocked punt, but it's all started with the dropped punt by Hamlet when he dropped it, and Warwick recovered, and then Hampton could never get out of the hole after they stopped the Raiders and intercepted the ball on about the 4-yard line. And you give up, you know, you hate to give up any points at all, but it was not scored against the defense, and that's one point that the Crabbers were sure to make.
All right, our score, actually the graphic is incorrect. It's 14-7 at halftime. We'll return with halftime statistics and the third quarter of action after this brief timeout.
Alternative viewing from WHCS TV 5.
Back here at sun-drenched Darling Stadium, the Hampton Crabbers and the Warwick Raiders locked up in a 14-7 game. The Hampton Crabbers scored first. They took the opening kickoff, and Eric Capehart capped the drive with a 2-yard touchdown run with 7:19 remaining in the first quarter. And Welch kicked the extra point to make it 7-0 Hampton. Then they kicked off to Warwick, and on the second offensive play, Mario Haskett, the quarterback, fumbled the ball after a substantial gain. The ball was recovered by the Crabbers, and they took it in and capped the drive with a 1-yard run by the quarterback, Fred Brown. That was his 4th touchdown of the year, and that came at 3:27 of the first quarter. And after one quarter, the Crabbers led 14-0. Then the Warwick Raiders scored on a blocked punt, and we're told that Gideon Mooring, number 88, recovered the blocked punt. And the extra point was good by the Raiders, and that's how we stand at halftime. That all happened at 10:07 of the second quarter. And as we get set to start the second half, the Warwick Raiders will get the ball to start, trailing by the score of 14-7. We've seen a couple of turnovers for each team. Fred Brown threw his first interception, and Haskett was picked off as well.
Well, so, that big, excuse me, Tim, that big interception by the Haskett's interception over in the corner of the end zone and brought out to about the 5-yard line really put Hampton in the hole, and they ended up another penalty put them back after they kicked. They had a successful kick, had to kick again. As you mentioned, that was a smart move. Blocked the punt, got the touchdown, but there has been an awful lot of flags today, more than what we normally see. This game is very heated. Both teams are undefeated, and the winner of this could very well win the district title this year.
We're just about set to get the second half underway. John Stein has the ball teed up for the Hampton Crabbers. Haskett and Hooker are back deep for the Raiders. Stein has his foot in the ball, and we are underway. It's a short kick taken by Tremaine Jernigan at the 18-yard line. He's going the wrong direction. The ball is stripped by the Crabbers, and they've got it.
And the same guy that stripped it got the ball. That was number 43, Deshaun King. What a play.
Deshaun King stripped the ball and recovered the fumble. So yet another turnover. The Crabbers, coming into this game, had caused 13 turnovers by their opponents, and they've added 2 or 3 to that total this afternoon. And a big one here to start the second half at the 11-yard line. The Crabbers have it on the fumble.
Well, that was an excellent play. I don't know if you can hear me or not.
No, we seem to be having a bit of an audio problem, at least here in the booth, and we apologize. If, in fact, you're having difficulty at home, we'll be working on that and hopefully get it cleared up for you.
I was watching that young man run down the field, and he was moving, going hard down the field, and the only chance he had to get the runner was to reach out and grab, and he did. He got the arm, and the ball caused the fumble and turned around and recovered the fumble. What an excellent play by the Hampton Crabbers, and that was number 43, Deshaun King, who was 6'1", 175 junior running back for the Crabbers.
So Hampton now gets a big break to start the third quarter, as Jernigan had taken that relatively short kick and was heading east and west instead of north and south, and King did a great job of stripping it and then recovered it. Fred Brown is over center. He's got Capehart and Morrow in the backfield. This is Capehart, Eric Capehart off the left side, inside the 10 to about the 8.
And they're just going to try to power that ball in that time, get some good blocking off that offensive line. They have been controlling the line of scrimmage, especially in that first quarter, the Crabbers have. And it picked up, it looks like, about 4 yards on the play.
Capehart averages a little more than 4 yards every time he carries for the Crabbers. Again, we thank our friends at the Daily Press for those statistics, as they have kept me informed throughout the season. This is Deshaun Morrow down to the goal line. He will come up short, though. It will not be in for the score.
Well, he can't get much closer without getting the ball over.
Deshaun Morrow, as I mentioned earlier, he averages more than 6.7 yards per carry. Stein comes out of the ball game for Hampton. Terry Connor, number 11, checks in with the play.
Well, this could be a first down, Tim. They could get a first down without scoring, and it looks like they did.
That's exactly what's happened. Here you see the replay, down almost in. Morrow at the inch line, and that's where the ball is marked, just the nose of it shy of the goal line, and the Crabbers have 4 downs.
And if you're the Crabbers, you might just let Brown take the ball in on a quarterback keeper.
Well, he keeps the ball, and that's what happened. He goes in for the touchdown. His second of the ball game. So the second time in this game that Hampton has scored as a result of a turnover. Brown scores with 10:58. I'm sorry, 10:58
no, that's okay.
of the third.
I was just going to say that was because of the special teams play, and King, 43, just did an awesome job.
Welch's extra point try is blocked. So Pat Welch, who had great success kicking extra points, has this one blocked. Here's the replay. Brown kind of stumbled over his center there, but got enough momentum going to tuck the ball underneath his arm and go into the end zone.
He just went right off his right guard, got a great block from the right guard on that side. That blocked extra point could loom to be big before this game is over.
20-7, and the turnovers have most certainly hurt the Warwick Raiders. Both of these teams have capitalized on opponents' turnovers this year, and the Crabbers, ever the opportunist, have done so twice in this ball game. Their second touchdown, Brown scored an identical 1-yard run as a result of a turnover. So Brown has carried in twice in this ball game. He's got 5 touchdowns on the season. And Stein will tee it up again. The Raiders trailing 20-7. This is a longer kick taken by Jernigan at the 10-yard line. He's across the 20, 25 to the 30, and finally driven out of bounds at the 34-yard line. So the Raiders hold on to the ball this time. And they'll set up at their 34-yard line, trailing by 2 touchdowns. I want to correct myself. Earlier I had mentioned that on that interference play in the second quarter against Mario Gatling that I questioned whether the ball was catchable or not. Well, that's a pro rule. As you see a replay of the kickoff. In high school ball, you can be tackled and impeded from catching the ball at any range. It doesn't matter whether the ball is catchable or not. It will be called a penalty. Mario Haskett is wrestled out of bounds as the Raiders cross the 35 to about the 37.
That's a defensive end. Myron Newsom making the stop that time, number 55.
Newsom has played superb defense for the Crabbers this year. I know in the 3 games that we've watched Hampton play, he has been a very intricate part of the Hampton defense, he and Anthony Sherry, among others. The Raiders now looking at a second down and about 8.
And now they're unbalanced to the right side.
Inside handoff to Melvin Haskett. He crosses the 45 to about the 46. And depending on where they mark the ball, I believe it will be, in fact, a first down. Incidentally, that previous touchdown drive was 6 plays, 11 yards. It consumed 57 seconds for the Crabbers. Fred Brown, the quarterback, as you see, Vic Williams on the near sideline of the Hampton bench applying ice to his right knee. So that's not good news for the Hampton team at all. Williams, a very strong running back for the Crabbers. As I mentioned earlier, averages 6 yards a carry and 199 yards on 3 games coming in here. Looks like he will be out for a while, if not the rest of this game. First down at the Warwick 47. Haskett on the option, flips the ball to Tremaine Jernigan. Jernigan across midfield, driven out of bounds at the Warwick 45-yard line.
He was driven out of bounds by Anthony Cherry, who is not only the linebacker, but also the starting center for the Crabbers, has been for 3 years.
Little up close and personal view of the Crabber cheerleaders on the near sidelines. They mark the ball squarely on the the Hampton 45-yard line. It's second down and 2 for Warwick. 9:24. You see the replay here of Jernigan as he goes out of bounds in the hands of Anthony Cherry.
And we got unbalanced to the left again.
And Melvin Haskett is stopped cold at the line of scrimmage. And on the stop for the Crabbers, 72, DeBrew.
And also number 89, Galen Burrell. They really combined to stop any forward progress. Brings up a third and looks like, what's that, about 1.5, almost 2, doesn't it?
Yep. They need to cross the Hampton 47.
And here they're going into an unbalanced again.
Tyrone Davis sets up to the near side. 2 wide receivers to the left. Haskett gives, and it appears that the Raiders may have the first down.
Yeah, it looks like on the spot that it's a first down.
Forward progress down to about the 42. We again welcome those of you on Channel 36 of Newport News to our coverage. I'm Tim Cole with Bob Hintz and the crew here at the new Darling Stadium. Channel 5 WHCS, the Hampton City School System, bringing this game to you. Game taped on the 29th of September 1990 between the Warwick Raiders, number 6 in the state, and the Hampton Crabbers, ranked number 1 in the state. So the first down now at the 42-yard line of Hampton. Raiders trailing 20-7 with 8:20 remaining in the third quarter. Mario Haskett, the left-hander, drills the ball to his receiver, Rogers. And Rogers picks up a couple of real tough yards.
Well, he was tackled by 4 Hampton Crabbers. He wasn't going any place after he caught it. He made a nice move after he caught the ball.
Actually, he ended up with just 1 yard. Toughest yard he'll ever pick up. Here you see the replay as he starts to cut back, and then the Crabbers swarm over him and make him pay the price. That was Dedrick Rogers. Second down and 9 for the Raiders. Haskett on the option play, keeps the ball, and Galen Burrell wraps him up for a loss.
And he did a good job, but that's his key. And he did a great job of stopping the quarterback to pitch the ball or to cut down and keep it.
Galen Burrell, of course, those of you that follow our telecast, was our player of the game in the very first game of the season for the Hampton Crabbers as they defeated Green Run. 3rd down and 10 for the Raiders as the 2 downs previously have gained nothing for them. Mario Haskett on the quarterback draw, then the option play, flips the ball to Jernigan. Jernigan's got some running room. He's across the 30 into the 25-yard area, and the first down for the Raiders.
Oh, that was a nice play. They again went into an unbalanced, went outside, made a nice pitch. There was nobody out there to stop the pitch man, and here we see it on replay. Haskett goes down the line and pitches just as he was getting hit, and it was a block that time, and then there's, you see Hooker downfield blocking Cassells.
Fine play by the Warwick Raiders. They had a 3rd down and 10 and pick up the first at the Hampton 25. Haskett is going to be sacked.
And that was caused by number 32, Eric Capehart, come shooting through the linebacker spot and made him move. And as soon as he took another step, he was hit by another defender.
That was Galen Burrell who followed up, I do believe, as you're right, though. Capehart forced him to step up in the pocket, and the Crabbers were waiting for him right there.
Loss of 5 on that play.
2nd down and 15 at the 30. Raiders have 2 wide receivers to the left, out of the eye. Haskett is hit, and is he ever hit? Galen Burrell was there, but he was leveled by another Crabber. That was Cherry, 54, and Haskett has not gotten up yet.
Well, I have been watching Anthony Cherry. He does an excellent job centering the ball and then blocking, but boy, defensively, is he ever sticking them? Watch this play. Again, Warwick in an unbalance to the left, and that's where they're going. Cherry just comes through. Right here, you'll see him, 54, boom.
That was Burrell that actually gave him the initial hit, and then Cherry finished him off. Another 5-yard loss. It's 3rd down and 20. Haskett gets the pass completed across the 30 to the 25-yard line. On the receiving end, Tyrone Davis, but not enough for a first down as they got back 10 of the 20 they needed, and it'll be 4th down at the 25.
I don't know what kind of a field goal kicker the Raiders have.
Right here, come on, let's go!
Watch this on replay, and there's a good shot of the Crabber coaching staff. Nice pass, but good defense. After he caught the ball, he had nowhere to go. Pick up of almost 10 on that play.
Terry Connor, number 11, making the stop. 4th down and 10 at the 25. Haskett rolling, throws over the middle, got a man open at the 10-yard line, down to the 5. It'll be 1st and goal for the Raiders.
What a nice play by the offensive. Well, that number 2 looked like 4. I'm sorry.
A Raider injured on the play now.
Melvin Haskett, if it's number 2, was wide open. Watch this on a replay. Nice fake by Mario Haskett.
Haskett got hit by Newsom just after he unloaded. But there you see, you're right, that is Melvin Haskett, his brother. And at the 10-yard line, he got the catch and then took the hit at the 5, and he is being attended to.
He was wide open. He found a hole in that zone.
I think we're looking at a cramp situation here. The way they're holding his leg, he apparently has suffered a cramp. And we'll watch it again. I don't think he was hurt by the hit. There were several Warwick Raiders open on the play, and this time Haskett was able to complete the pass. There you see just to the right of your screen a man on the sideline wide open. Haskett open across the middle. And if there was any concern on the part of the Crabbers coming into this game was their secondary. They were somewhat suspect about how well they could stop this multifaceted attack of the Warwick Raiders, and the Raiders to this point have been held well in check by the Crabbers. But this time and in this possession, the Raiders have done well. As you see, Haskett is really in some discomfort as he is being helped off the field, and his loss to the Raiders would be a severe loss.
Well, they have a 1st and goal at the 5. Hampton gets real tough and real stingy down at this end of the field, as we've seen in the past and we saw in the 1st quarter. But you have to say that the momentum has swung a little bit in favor of the Raiders, especially their offense. That was a big 4th down play. It was 4th and 10, and they went for it, and very successful.
1st and goal at the Crabber 5-yard line. Remember now, no team offensively has scored against the Crabbers in 3.5 games this season. Raiders trying to be the first to do so. Haskett takes a hit as he crosses the 5 to the 4. That's the play that he used earlier. Now I see a flag down.
Flag on the play.
Well, we haven't seen one of those this quarter, have we?
Or maybe it's not. Maybe it's just a handkerchief. So thank goodness for that.
That was a towel.
It was a towel. So for no flag, but it did appear to be a penalty flag, and it's certainly after being shell shocked during the first quarter and the first half. You can't blame us for wondering if it was. 2nd and goal at the 4. Haskett comes to the near side and gets a yard. So it'll be 3rd down and goal at the 3, and that tough Hampton defense is digging in as it always does. And now the Raiders will be looking at a 3rd and goal and a situation. They've got to come up with something here. I don't really think they want a field goal at this point, because a field goal would make it a 10-point difference, and they'd still have to score 2 more scores.
Yes. But you don't want to come away empty-handed either.
No, let's worry about that when we get to the Raiders in 4-down territory. This is 3rd down and goal at the 3. Raiders with a potent offense which has been held in check all afternoon. Haskett throws, knocked away at the last second at the goal line. Sean Hamlet woozy after the play.
I think
he looks like he might be suffering from a cramp.
Well, I think he hit his knee, and that may be why he's limping a little bit.
Well, there's several players down. There's another Warwick player down along the near sideline. Here's a replay.
He was the young man that the ball was going to.
He took a hit from Hamlet, and Hamlet and he both came up limping. Actually, Hamlet got up. This man's still down. Here you see the contact.
Excellent defensive play, and that's number 33.
Jernigan, Tyrone Jernigan. And he is still being attended to. And Mario Haskett, the quarterback, also got a hit, and he was slow to get up.
Well, we got a 4th down, Tim, and the ball is on the 3. You got to go for it. If the Raiders, I think, because what you were saying about 3 downs 3 points would still make them need to have 2 scores after that. But what you do here is, if you don't make it, you've got Hampton in the hole. If you can hold them and perhaps block another punt. Your defense did it one time before. So you got to, if you're Bill Lyons, I'm sure he's thinking, well, we're going to try to score, but if we don't, we've got Hampton really in a hole.
That's Tremaine Jernigan, by the way, number 33, who has been a very instrumental part of the offense for the Raiders. And again, it looks like he might be suffering from a cramp. The heat this afternoon, of course, could be causing some of the problem.
Yeah, it could very well happen. That was an excellent play by Sean Hamlet, getting there as the ball did, making contact and knocking the ball away at the same time.
So the play continues to be stopped for the injured player. He is well off the field of play, but of course he is being attended to and helped to his feet as we speak. There you see a good shot of Jernigan, and he gets a nice round of applause from the fans in the stands. So Hamlet on the defense does a super job of breaking up that pass play right at the goal line. And now, Bob, I'm going to test you here and see what you might do.
That's Carlin Lowe, who is the athletic trainer over there with him. Okay, test me.
What would you do now? You're the Warwick Raiders. It's 4th down at the 3. You've not been able to run the ball successfully down close.
Well, what I would do is I'd do a rollout on a pass again, because if you drop straight back, Hampton has a tendency to throw you for a loss. So I would do a sprint out to the right or to the left. Being a left-handed quarterback, I would think to the left would be more advantageous. Try to get one of your receivers open. And if it's incomplete, then you've got Hampton in a real situation deep at their own end of the field. You got wide people to the right.
So just as the officials rule the ball ready for play, Hampton calls a timeout, so they kind of want Warwick to think about this.
Well, I don't know why Hampton's doing that. If they stop and look, Warwick doesn't have but 10 players on the field.
By the way,
unless I can't count right.
You were watching number 75, Robbie Purrier, for the Raiders. He's just a little fella, Robbie is.
See, we got a substitute coming in. Warwick did not have, well, I don't know. They still taking one out now. So let's
Purrier
see.
goes in at 5'10", 320 pounds.
He doesn't miss many meals, does he?
Not if he can help it. Just a little fella. The clock has been stopped with 2:58 remaining. This game has been particularly long. We had a lot of penalties in the first half. We had a lot of injuries that precipitated timeouts and stoppages of play. And then here in the third quarter, we've been clipping right along, but now a couple of injuries and a couple of timeouts.
I must be counting wrong. I thought there wasn't but 10 players on the field, but there must be 11.
The Raiders have finished their discussions, as have the Crabbers.
And everything is wide to the right. They've got 2 wide receivers to the right. Big number 75 is an eligible pass we see now. They're bringing him over, bringing the tight end over to this side now. Even front, balanced line.
4th and goal at the 3. On the option play, he's tripped up and stopped. Galen Burrell on that play, as well as Sean Hamlet forcing the play out. And the Crabbers will take over.
And Haskett is limping off the field. But now you give Hampton much better field position. Sit on the 4, they got the 9, loss of 5. Nice defense by the Crabbers.
Sean Hamlet, along with Burrell over there on the stop. Get a chance to watch the replay on this. They're going to jump to the near side, out of the eye. Haskett's going to flip the ball back.
And probably much sooner than he wanted to, but look at Sean Hamlet. He's the one that caused that.
And Antonio Banks was the ball carrier, one of the few times in the ball game that Banks has been in for the Raiders.
But see, what happened was that the blocker, Hamlet knocked the blocker right back into the runner. Excellent job by Sean Hamlet.
They like Banks, by the way. Antonio Banks, he averages 18 yards every time he carries the ball for the Raiders. So, of course, that wasn't hurt much by the fact that he had 1 carry for 51 yards.
Yeah, that'll boost your average
That'll
a bit.
bring your average up in a minute. So the Crabbers now at the 10-yard line, 2nd down after the 1-yard gain. They keep it on the ground. This is Shelly Ellison. Ellison seeing action for the first time in the ballgame. Ellison, of course, injured in the first game. Yeah, Bob.
They're just trying to punch the ball out, try to get a first down, but now they got a long 3rd and long. So you almost expect them to put the ball in the air, but, you know, when you expect Mike Smith to pass, he doesn't. So, you know, we could see that off-tackle play that has worked right well with Sean Hamlet. And Hamlet is in. On that first quarter, we saw that right frequently.
Snow and Capehart in the eye. Gatling wide to the left, and now, after a surveying of the defense, Brown calls timeout.
What he was trying to do is draw the Warwick Raiders offside on a quick count or a hesitation count, and it didn't work, so he calls the timeout. So Mike is going to go out and talk to him, and that's the 2nd timeout for the Crabbers.
Both teams have used 2 timeouts here in the 2nd half, so they each have 1 remaining. We remind you, of course, as you're watching this ball game this coming weekend, if you, in fact, are watching it back in October, we show these games throughout the year, so it's kind of difficult. But I do want to promo the fact that on the 5th and 6th of October, we have 2 back-to-back games that should be just super football games here at Darling Stadium. We're going to have the Hampton Crabbers taking on the undefeated Phoebus Phantoms, and of course, if Hampton can hold on here, they'll be also undefeated. And then we're going to have the Bethel Bruins and the Kecoughtan Warriors. So that should be a super ball game. Anytime the Hampton schools face each other, especially these guys, there's going to be some head knocking. There's going to be some super football.
Well,
make some plans to come out to Darling Stadium and see the games in person.
Absolutely, Tim. And I just want to echo that because of the Hampton school. But we got 4 good coaches in the Hampton system, and they have done a good job in building programs. And then you have to go head to head.
Fred Brown is tripped up at the 9-yard line. A good defensive effort by the Raiders. Over on the play, Melvin Haskett, another two-way performer for the Raiders.
And he lost almost 2 yards on that play, which will bring up a 4th down. And now you tell your offensive line, you keep the Raiders out. Don't let them block another punt.
Here's the replay. Snow out in front trying to block for Brown, but Haskett had no one blocking him. He just went out and made an open field tackle on Fred Brown. Stein standing at his goal line, gets it away. It's an end-over-end kick. Takes a Warwick bounce back towards the Hampton goal line, and wisely is grabbed by the Crabbers. That was Ron Hill, who I mentioned his name earlier incorrectly. This time I got him right. But the Raiders will have great field position, the ball inside the Hampton 30.
That's why going for it on 4th down really enables you to get a second chance at a touchdown, because you are now playing at your end of the field rather than in Hampton's end, and they're only 28 yards from a score.
The Raiders now have a different quarterback in Anthony Richards, number 10, a 5'9", 145-pound junior for the Raiders, is in for Warwick.
And they're in the option offense.
This is Melvin Haskett, and he's wrapped up by Capehart and others, and now we got a fumble, and the Crabbers have got it.
And again, was caused by number 32 for the Crabbers, Eric Capehart. I tell you, I am impressed with both Capehart and Hamlet and Anthony Cherry today on defense. They have really been doing a great job.
We'll watch the replay here. The ball goes to Haskett. He stumbles right there. It was almost questionable as to whether his knee went down. There you see Capehart, and the ball pops
loose. And he stripped that ball, did a great job of stripping that ball, Capehart did.
And that was the last play of the 3rd quarter as time has run out. And the Crabbers and the Raiders will switch ends of the field. Our score after 3 quarters, 20 for Hampton and 7 for the Warwick Raiders. And if you're in the stands now, you want to head down to the concession stand, get some of those hot sausages.
Bring one up for Tim.
I'm trying to send a signal to our booth there.
Hey, listen, if he sends up a hot sausage, you have, but if he's going to send up anything, try the hot dog. Excellent hot dog. I'm not saying the hot sausages aren't great.
I got to get Slow-Mo to hold me one that's already cooked, because, see, I was going to have 2 before the game, just kind of fuel me over. He's going to hold me a couple after the game, but I need 1 to go, if you know what I mean, Joe. Slow-Mo Joe, of course, working his usual fine job. I want to thank the crew for coming out this afternoon on this beautiful Saturday afternoon. We enjoyed doing the ball games. There you see some of the fans in the stands enjoying this game. But our crew does a great job, and, you know, there are some sacrifices there, folks. This is a Saturday afternoon that you could have been home watching Purdue and Notre Dame, but I'd like to see how Eric Hunter's going to do in that game.
Absolutely.
So the crew is here as we are and enjoying the ball game. Hope you are too, and I hope you enjoy our coverage here on Channel 5 in Hampton and Channel 36 in Newport News for this game. Have a discussion now. Mike Robinson is having a discussion.
One of the Warwick coaches is out on the field, and they had to pull one of the ball players away for Warwick. Evidently, he wanted to voice his opinion or something, and he said, "No, let me do the talking. You play football."
So they mark the ball at the Hampton 29-yard line. It's 1st down as we get the 4th quarter underway. 12 more minutes of high school action. This is Deshaun Merrow as he gets close to the 40-yard line. He'll be very close to a 1st down.
Well, that is a 1st down. He got to the 40. And this is the first time I've seen Deshaun play a run. You said he played in that first game, Green Run, and I was when I was in Minnesota, so I didn't get to see that.
Yeah, he had a big game. He got 74 yards on 10 carries. There you see how he did it in that game as he showed his quickness. He's a very quick runner.
You notice there the hole was blocked up, and he just found an opening and took it.
That's what he did in that first game, as we have whistles and flags before the snap of the ball.
I think the whole Hampton Crabber offensive line moved before the ball was snapped.
So they'll mark off the penalty against Hampton.
No foul, false start, Hampton.
Mike Robinson and his crew doing a good job this afternoon of officiating this game. A very high-charged game as the Crabbers and the Raiders, of course, battling for supremacy. Hampton number 1 in the state, Warwick number 6. Ball is marked at the Hampton 35. It's 1st and 15. On the delayed handoff, the draw play does not fool the Warwick Raiders, as in on the stop was Jeff Lyons, number 53, and he stopped the...
Let me tell you a little something about Jeff Lyons. He's a son of the coach, Bill Lyons, and he's a member of the Tidewater Challenge, and also does wrestling. He's ranked in either 3 or 4th in his class. And I know Bill is real proud of his son.
Ball now hitting 34.
Jeff Lyons made the coach happy on that play, stopping the play for a loss. Lost rather of about a yard, and it's 2nd down and 16 for the Crabbers. Fred Brown at quarterback has been all day. He's got time, sets, throws, it's intercepted. Ball overthrown and picked off. The Raiders with a return on. All the way down inside the Hampton 20-yard line. That is number 44, Antonio Banks. And that ball was just thrown right to him.
That ball was just overthrown right to Banks. And not a big turnover. Gives the Warwick the ball inside the 20. This has been a game of turnovers today.
Wayne Spencer was the intended receiver. You'll watch the replay here. Brown has all day to throw. He just simply overthrows Spencer. There you see Spencer. It's just too tall for him. And right in the arms of Banks. And now we have we got a flag, or is this a
No, that's another towel.
So the officials stopped the action for a moment. At the 19-yard line, 1st down for the Raiders. Ball is fumbled, the ball is loose. Galen Burrell falls on it for Hampton. So both times that Anthony Richards has been a quarterback, the plays have resulted in fumbles, 2 consecutive offensive possessions. The Raiders have given it up again.
Well, I didn't see that. What happened on the fumble that time?
We may get a chance to watch it again, but Richards mishandled the ball, and Galen Burrell was right there to make the grab. And I understand we don't have it, so you'll have to take my word for it. They got the fumble, and the Crabbers with their 4th recovery of a fumble or an interception this afternoon. This is Merrow. Merrow drags tacklers across the 25 to the 26.
I tell you, Hampton has been Johnny on the spot, causing and getting turnovers. They've given a ball up a few times, but the Warwick Raiders defense have not allowed Hampton to get a whole lot of yardage after that 1st quarter. Not running the ball anyway.
As you might have expected.
They have made some nice adjustments during halftime, I'm sure.
Well, the Crabbers were working that play when Hamlet was to go off the right side. They did that during the 1st quarter on the initial possession, and the Raiders have clogged that up. There you see Vic Williams back in the ball game, we're happy to say. He had been on the sidelines with ice on his knee, so apparently he is okay.
Well, and again, it may not be that any more than you have runners that get to the holes a little quicker than other people, and the blocking could have been there, and the runner's just not getting there in time. You're talking split-second timing sometimes when these holes are opened by that offensive line.
1st down for the Crabbers at the 35. Brown gives to Hamlet, right side carry for a couple.
Hamlet on the carry.
8:25 remaining in the 4th quarter. Hampton has led from the very beginning. They led 7-0 on Capehart's 2-yard run. That Brown made it 14-0. Then a blocked punt in the end zone was recovered by Gideon Mooring of Warwick to make it 14-7 at halftime. And Brown has added a touchdown in the 2nd half from 1 yard out after a turnover. And that's how we stand, 20-7, as Welch missed the extra point on the 3rd touchdown. This is Sean Hamlet, gets away from one tackler but not another.
Well, he should have kept going straight ahead. He got away from a tackler and took off and actually lost yardage because of that.
Tyrone Davis, another one of the two-way players for the Raiders, made the stop. And as you mentioned exactly, Hamlet ends up losing a couple back to the 37-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 8 for Hampton. 7.5 minutes remaining. Hampton holds on here. They will go into another week of playing an undefeated team. They played Green Run when they were undefeated. They played Kecoughtan when they were undefeated. And they, of course, are taking on the Raiders here in a similar status. Hampton calls their final timeout, and as you see, we'll watch the replay of this last effort by Sean Hamlin. You can't fault him for the second effort.
No, absolutely.
Hindsight
I didn't
is
mean
all.
that.
No, I know you didn't, but hindsight is always 20/20. Now you see him going backwards, and then Davis is able to wrap him up, so he would have had a yard more than he ended up with. But no, you can never tell what's going to happen. He may have broken a tackle and gone all the way around the end there, but it's just one of those things that in an effort to get extra effort, he hurt himself. Let's talk about.
Well, let me talk why Mike Smith called his timeout.
I was just gonna say.
The reason he called a timeout was because rather than take a penalty for delay of game, which is very close to happening at that time, and he'd rather not take the penalty, you got a 3rd and 8 rather than a 3rd and 13. But we also are going to pick a player of the game for the Hampton Crabbers today. And I want to talk about the plaque we're going to award. It's going to be given to the player of the game, donated by DC Engraving, and is a sample metal photo. DC Engraving is located in York Village Shopping Center on Route 17 in Grafton, and you can hear the cheerleaders are really happy about that.
Brown on the option play flips the ball to Sean Hamlet, and the Raiders defending in the play very well. Haskett, number 2, Melvin Haskett, turned the play in along with number 70, George Lane, for the Raiders, and the Crabbers will be forced to kick the ball.
We're also going to give a shirt to the player of the game, and it's donated by Turner's Hardware and Sports Place. Has locations in Willow Oak Shopping Center, Denby Square, and a new location is a newest store, Sports Place, located in the shops at Hampton Harbor next to Hampton University.
Stein standing inside his 25. And it's a fake. The Crabbers are going to go for the first down. Stein got the first down for Hampton.
What a nice play. And I know Warwick was not looking for that. They were looking for a return, a punt and return, because Stein, his last punt was not a very long one. But what a heads-up call by Mike Smith and that coaching staff. They saw something. Watch this on the replay, Tim.
First and 10 for the Crabbers.
This is a fake all the way. He never intended to kick the ball. Stein almost got caught in the backfield, but almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. And then he took a hit and a tumble right there, but not before he got a first down at the Warwick 47-yard line.
And I was real impressed by Stein. If you noticed, he was pointing like there was a blocker. There was no blocker down there, but he was pointing and made the defenders think, well, maybe there's a blocker coming. Oh, what a heads-up call by the Hampton Crabbers.
The Raiders now have called their final timeout of the ball game. Both teams have used all their timeouts with 6:19 remaining in the fourth quarter. And the Crabbers, of course, will talk this over. That was a big play because the Crabbers were looking at a fourth down, having to give the ball back to the Raiders. And it would seem that the Raiders have had a fair amount of the momentum here in the second half. But this one will not work much for the Raiders because they got victimized by John Stein's fake.
They most certainly did.
Crabbers have not lost to the Warwick Raiders since 1965. In fact, the Warwick Raiders won 2 games back-to-back. They won in 64 and again in 65. And that was the last time that the Crabbers fell victim to Warwick. And again, I want to thank our fine friends at the Daily Press for all of their statistics, Mike Keach in particular, along with Terry Armour and Sonny Dirth and others, for providing us with statistics for today's game. It makes it a lot easier to do.
Oh, it most certainly does. It makes you sound so knowledgeable.
That's right.
I asked Mike, do you slip him a little, or you buy him a hot sausage or a hot dog or something?
Deshaun Merrow carries to the 39-yard line of Warwick, pickup of about 7.
Are you ignoring that?
Oh, no,
I'm just teasing.
I give him lots of plugs.
Yeah, I'm sure yes, you do.
And, you know, we're fellow Daily Pressers. Kind of a mix-up in the backfield, I do believe, as Brown, I think, was trying to hand the ball off. I'm not really sure, but it didn't work nonetheless because Jeff Lyons, 53, was there to wrap him up before the Crabbers could untrack it.
Well, right now the Warriors have more opponents out there than just the Crabbers. They also have the clock because we're under 5:30 to go in the game, and they need 2 scores.
There you saw the replay as Lyons wrapped up Fred Brown.
And if he'd have handed the ball, it looked like Shelly Ellenson was wide open, and I just didn't, the timing may have not have been there.
Pitch to Deshaun Merrill, and he is driven out of bounds. They'll mark it at the 36-yard line of Warwick. That'll be real close to a first down.
Shelly Ellenson did a good job of blocking that time.
All right, we'll return to Darling Stadium with the conclusion of today's ball game after this brief timeout. We welcome you back to Darling Stadium. 5:04 remaining. During the time we were away, the measurement for the first down shows that the Crabbers are just inches shy of the first down. So it'll be 4th down and inches for Hampton at the 36-yard line of Warwick. Tim Cole with Bob Hintz from the new Darling Stadium in Hampton. This game coming to you as a production of Channel 5 WHCS in Hampton, and we are happy to have Channel 36 and Newport News carrying our cablecast. 4th and inches. Brown keeps and has the first down across the 35. So
well, that could be the straw that broke the back for the Raiders, because that gives Hampton the new life, 1st and 10, and you're under 5 minutes to go.
And the Raiders are out of timeouts as well. Both teams have used their allotted timeouts. Pitch back to Deshaun Merrill. Following his blocker, he goes out of bounds, which will, in fact, stop the clock. Inside the 30 of Warwick at about the 29. Well, they'll mark it actually at the 28-yard line.
Looked like pick up a good 6, almost 6.5 yards on that carry. They run it to the short side of the field, and as you said, when they go out of bounds, it does stop the clock. Watch the replay. It's just a pitch by Brown, and he's got some blockers in front. There's Ellenson making a nice block, and he's finally run out of bounds.
Crowd starting to file out here of Darling Stadium on both sides of the field as this game is appearing to be well in hand for the Crabbers. Brown has plenty of running room, directing traffic, still on his feet. And, well, he's finally knocked out of bounds.
He made about 4 people miss. We got an injured player on the field for the Raiders, but it was a nice run by Fred Brown.
He got the first down for Hampton. And a Warwick Raider is on the field, and he is being attended to. So we've had an unusual number of injuries today, we're unhappy to say. Hopefully this one will not be serious.
Well, I think that with some of the others that we've seen, it looks like they've been leg cramps. It is in the 80s, and these young men have played real hard, and some of them have played both ways. Like Anthony Cherry is a good example of that.
Let's watch the replay here. You see just the very end of it as Brown here had been forced out of the pocket, then looked downfield and realized he had a lot of running room. He's directing his blockers, as you can see. Let's see if we can pick up the injury that occurred, if it's in fact in our picture. It looks like that was the young man that hurt himself. That was the young man
there that was just a nice move by Brown to make him miss, and here's 2 more.
Well, in fact, that's Jeff Lyons, I believe, that has come off the field by himself. Yeah, that's who it is, Jeff Lyons. So we're happy to see
that. That makes the coaches happy on that sideline.
Happy to see he's just shaken up a little bit. And the Crabbers now with a first down inside the 15. 4:25 remaining. And another stoppage of play.
This is a official stop just to make sure everything was ready. Shelly Ellenson on a nice run, and he's just a sophomore.
Ellison, who was injured in the opening game against Green Run, has been slow to come back, but he carried the ball well that time. Pickup of about 5.
Well, he had strained ligaments, and it's still kind of sore. It was last week, and I'm sure he's each game he plays, he gets a little more confidence, and you see he ran with a lot of confidence that time. And you can see on the replay, it takes about 3 of them to bring him down.
Brown tripped up as he handed the ball off to Merrill.
That's Reggie Alston did a great job penetrating that offensive line and throwing the Crabber, really lost some yardage on that play.
They marked the ball at the 10. It'll be second down, or check that, third down, and about 6. Along 5 at least. Stein comes to the near side as a wide receiver. Backfield has Capehart and Ellison. Brown again wrestled to the ground before he had a chance to do anything, as the blocking for the Crabbers not keeping the Warwick defenders out. At the latter part of the stage here, the Crabbers have had a hard time keeping the defenders from Warwick out of the backfield. You gonna try and make your way down to the field, Bob, here at the conclusion?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to talk to some players. Well, I'm definitely going to talk to Danny Mitchell. I asked him if I could talk to him after the game, so let me get set up and go down.
All right, we're going to hope you'll stay tuned at the conclusion of the ball game, as Bob will be down on the field. This is post-game interviews. This is a handoff to Ellison. And that's going to do it for the Crabbers, as the Raiders are able to hold them on downs. Did not get the first down, so the ball goes over with 2:31 remaining. Raiders will take over at their 16-yard line. Clock has been restarted. I don't think the Raiders are aware of that. They seem to be taking a lot of time getting to the huddle. Certainly they could use every second they can. Trailing by 20-7. Raiders don't have enough players on the field, so they'll get a substitute out real quickly. Flags are down. Pass goes incomplete. We'll have to see if we get our director to turn on your handheld mic there, Bob, as we see the once again. Try it again now, Bob. No, I cannot hear you, Bob. We'll get you, though. So Mike Robinson has marked off the penalty against the Raiders.
Illegal motion on Warwick. First down.
So a major abundance of penalties into this afternoon's ball game. Almost tackled in the end zone was Haskett as he makes his way out to the 20-yard line, still on his feet. And finally goes out of bounds across the 25 at about the 28-yard line. Ball marked at the 28. First down for the Raiders. 1:46 remaining in the ball game. Bob, as you are headed down to the field, I'm not sure your mic is working yet. I cannot hear you, but we are going to award the player of the game to the Hampton player of the game, and that is going to be Anthony Cherry, as the pass completed by the Raiders at the Hampton 35-yard line. But we have flags back at the line of scrimmage. Flags down. The pass completed at the Hampton 35-yard line by Haskett.
All right, now, Tim, can you hear me okay now?
Yes, we sure can, Bob.
All right, good. I'm down the sideline.
All right, so Bob's down the sideline, and they're going to discuss this penalty with Hampton, which would lead you to believe that the Raiders will not get the pass completion, and that's what's going to happen. They're going to mark off a penalty. So Warwick and Hampton have committed so many penalties this afternoon, and many of those have been key penalties in the scoring situations. The penalty against Hampton with a fourth down in the second quarter resulted in another kick, and on that ensuing punt, the Raiders blocked it and recovered it in the end zone for the touchdown. Mike Robinson will tell us.
Personal foul on Warwick.
So the Raiders guilty of a personal foul penalty, bringing the ball all the way back to the 11-yard line.
Tim, I don't know how many penalties been called today, but there's been an exceedingly a large amount of penalties today.
Many too many for two teams of this caliber. Left-handed Haskett dumps the ball out of the backfield for Banks, but the ball goes incomplete.
Tim, I didn't hear you. Who did we pick for the game, player of the game?
Well, I went along with your suggestion of Anthony Cherry, although there were several others. And again, I want to use that little disclaimer that we used. There is no scientific rhyme or reason to our selection other than the fact that we go upon our impressions. We can certainly mount a cause for Deshaun Merrow. Fred Brown has done a great job. Anthony Cherry, Sean Hamlet. Just a list of Hampton Crabbers that have played outstanding ball today.
Well,
but Cherry, go ahead, Bob.
They sure have, and I've just been impressed with Cherry. I've watched him both offensively run in the center position and defensively as a halfback. I mean, as a linebacker, he's just done a great job, made some big plays.
And another injured player. This is Hampton, number 72 for the Crabbers, limping over to the bench. That's Dwayne DeBrew, and hopefully it's nothing more than a cramp, but he is in some discomfort.
Well, he's done a great job today, too. We've mentioned him quite a few times.
The Raiders, a flag down again as the pass is completed and out of bounds at the 20-yard line, but another penalty flag with 1:03 remaining. So the Hampton Crabbers, assuming they'll hold on, will run their streak to 4-0, and the defense will still remain unscored upon, at least with 1:03 remaining.
And this just really makes that game next week even bigger. Two undefeated teams going in to next weekend of Phoebus Phantoms versus the same Hampton Crabber outfit.
And also the Bethel Bruins and the Kecoughtan Warriors here at Darling Stadium, the 5th and 6th of October. We invite you to come out both nights. Spend $3 on a high school football game. It'll be well spent, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it. And when you're out here, try some of the great concessions.
On Warwick.
The hot sausage. Bob likes that hot sausage, I can tell.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with the hot sausage. I just like the hot dogs better is all.
The hot sausage is hot.
My mouth was on fire earlier, Tim.
The penalty moves the ball back inside the Warwick 5-yard line, so they're definitely going in the wrong direction. Shovel pass, and it's going to be a halfback option. Jernigan throws it up into a crowd of Crabbers. One Warwick Raider out there, and the Crabbers had a good shot at it. Hooker was the intended receiver for Warwick, and no less than 4 Hampton Crabbers surrounding the intended receiver.
Well,
fourth down now. Fourth down at the 5-yard line for the Raiders. We invite you again at the conclusion of the ball game, 56 seconds from now. Stay tuned as Bob will be down on the sidelines having a chance to talk with some of the players and coaches from the Hampton team. And hopefully one of those players might be Anthony Cherry, our player of the ball game.
Well, I'm going to try to get up with Anthony. I know I'm going to be able to talk with Danny Mitchell. I talked with him earlier and asked him if I could speak to him after the ball game.
It's a fake, and Harrell completes the pass to Banks at the 21-yard line. It'll be short of a first down by a good 20 yards. But the Raiders do get some breathing room. The Crabbers will take over with 49 seconds remaining, and the number 1 ranked team in the state will remain undefeated. And the Warwick Raiders will taste defeat for the first time. And the long-standing losing string will continue for the Raiders against Hampton. They haven't beaten Hampton since '65.
They got to wait at least one more year, and this Hampton Crabber team is going to be tough next year, Tim. They got a lot of sophomores and juniors on this team.
Hampton, a very young team this year. Brown throws it up, and there should be a flag, and there is none. The ball was tipped, so as soon as the ball was tipped, contact is allowable amongst the defenders and the intended receivers. You may have seen on your screen, Deshaun Merrow, 33, took a lick, but the ball had already been tipped, so the officials next to me were quick to make me aware of that. Here you see the replay. The ball is going to be tipped right here. Now watch 33 Merrow take a shot, But once the ball is tipped, he is open season.
Don't put it on the tripod.
I can only fight so far.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
23-yard line, the line of scrimmage. Hampton would like to get one more score here. 29 seconds remaining. They lead 20-7. They've got wide receivers to the left and right. Gatling is out on their Mario Gatling. This is Brown keeping, and Brown is upended at the 22-yard line. Good open field tackle by Jernigan, who's played a fine game for Warwick. There have been some superb efforts on the Warwick side of the field. We selected player of the game just for the City of Hampton player.
Well, Tim, both of these teams are both well coached fundamentally. They both do a good job of tackling, especially in the open field.
There's only 1 second remaining, and the Crabbers will not get the play off, as that is your ball game. The Hampton Crabbers capitalizing on turnovers committed by the Warwick Raiders. 2 of the 3 scores for Hampton came as a result of turnovers.
Hey, Tim, that's victory number 200 for the Mike Smith, the head coach of the Hampton Crabbers.
And victory number 4 this season for Hampton as they run their record to a 4-0 record. Warwick now falls to 3-1 overall and 2-1 in the district. And Bob now will make his way across the field. We invite you to stay tuned as we'll have some post-game interviews for you. The big crowd on hand for the game this afternoon saw a struggle in the first half. The turnovers caused the Warwick Raiders to go behind 2 touchdowns after the Crabbers took the opening kickoff and went 75 yards, capped by a 2-yard run by Eric Capehart. And then on the kickoff, the ball went to the Raiders on the second play from scrimmage. Mario Haskett coughed the ball up, and the Crabbers recovered the fumble and then took it in for a 14-0 lead. And the closest that Warwick ever got was 14-7 as the Crabbers expanded on that lead to 20-7, the ultimate margin of victory. And Bob, I see you've got Coach Danny Mitchell with you.
Yeah, I sure do, Tim. Danny, congratulations on a fine game. Defensively, nobody still has scored against the Crabbers.
Defense played a great football game today. You know, a couple times they were down in our territory and we shut them out. A couple goal line stands. I thought they played a great football game defensively.
Well, I did too, but I just thought there was a whole lot of flags out there. I mean, for both teams, it wasn't lopsided. It seemed to stop momentum and give people some breaks.
Yeah, I think that there was a lot of flags, and you don't say anything about the flags if you're on the coaching staff.
I understand.
And, they called them, look to me, the same on both sides. But it hurt both teams, and, it's just a shame you can't go out and play football in a game like that.
Yeah, that really is. One thing I want to say, we picked Anthony Cherry as the player of the game. I thought he did an excellent job from his linebacker spot, but did a great job offensively blocking after he centered the ball.
Yeah, Alonzo's been around 4 years now starting for us, and he does a good job centering, and now he's running the defense, calling defensive signals out on the defensive team. He's a good football player. All the kids have done a great job. You told us we'd be 4-0, and we shut out everybody we played so far. A lot of people would have said you were crazy this time of year.
Well, I got one other question to you. Next week, undefeated Phoebus against undefeated Hampton.
Yeah.
And this will be the 3rd team you played this year already has been undefeated.
Yeah, they keep lining up, it looks like, and everybody wants to knock us off, and we're just going to have to, buckle our belts and get back to work Monday. We don't change from day to day, week to week. Whoever we play, we do the same thing. We practice the same skills we've always practiced, and it seems to work. And I know a lot of people are going to say it's not Coach's 200th win, but this is Coach's 200th win. I don't care what happened back in 1981 or 80 against Patrick Henry and the other team, Phoebus, whoever it was, and it's 200 wins on the field.
There you go. Congratulations. Okay, Tim, let's go back up to the booth.
All right, thank you, Bob. Anthony Cherry is over there with Mike Keach from the Daily Press behind you, so if you get a chance to corral him, see if we can't get. Of course, there's Mike Smith over there. If you want to. Let me run down real quickly, if I may, some of the statistics provided by Computerland and Gary Moore. Final individual statistics find the Hampton Crabbers had 100 yards rushing, 17 yards negative yardage, so they ended up with 83 yards on the ground. And the Raiders had just 37 yards rushing. For the Raiders, they had 87 yards passing. And we're going to see if we can, in fact, get We'll see if Bob can get a chance to talk real quickly with Mike Smith. Go ahead, Bob.
Thanks a lot. We got Mike Smith down there. Congratulations, number 200, Mike.
Thanks, Bob.
I tell you, it was a tough game. You know, defensively, I thought you guys just played an excellent job.
I thought they did a real good job. You know, defense has played good all year. And we had a guy didn't go in on that punt down there. That really cost us. Then we got the punt blocked, you know. Had a good punt.
Well, I was talking to Danny earlier and, you know, mentioned that nobody has scored on your defense. That was not a defensive score. That was off of a block punt.
Yeah, that was, if he'd been a little close to the end zone, it would have gone out, but we should have got it off. We shouldn't have had that block because we worked on the kicking game enough that shouldn't have happened.
Well, that was an interesting call towards the end of the game on the fake punt. I mean, you picked up something, and, you know.
Oh, we had 3 different calls off of it. Throw the ball, run it with blocking back or the quarterback. So.
Well, I tell you, it was a great game. I mean, for the fan standpoint, it was great. It was kind of late in that second quarter with all the flags coming out, but you know that's part of something you're going to see. And I know you guys can't talk about the flags and everything. We do enough of that, but I just want to congratulate you on a fine effort.
I think the officials just really trying to keep the ball game under control, and you know, and every little thing that happened. But everything went well.
Good enough. Congratulations. See you next week. You got Phoebus, which is undefeated, also 3rd undefeated team this year in a row almost.
Well, Phoebus, fine football team. I saw them play last night, and they're tough.
Well, good enough. Good luck, Mike. We'll see you next week. Tim, let's go back up to the booth.
All right, thank you, Bob. Just to run down some final statistics provided by Gary Moore of Computerland. The Crabbers had 6 first downs, all of those by rushing. Raiders had 9. The Raiders' 3rd down efficiency, 2 out of 4, and the Crabbers were 2 of 5 in 3rd down situations. Total net yards for the Raiders, 124. Only 83 yards for the Crabbers, as that tough Warwick defense was ever present throughout the ballgame. Net rushing yards, 83 for the Crabbers and 37 for Warwick. Let's go quickly back down to the field. We've got Alonzo Cherry with Bob.
Hey, thanks a lot, Tim. We got Anthony Cherry here. Anthony, congratulations on finding you play the whole ball game.
Yes, I did. I played the whole ball game. It's usually like that. I play the whole ball game every game, you know.
Were you calling the defenses?
Yes, calling defenses.
Well, you know, and I watch you on offense, I watch you center the ball and block. You've been picked as our player of the game because of your outstanding play, but that doesn't reflect on the rest of them because we could have picked a lot of kids out there
Yes,
today.
sir. It could have been Tarek Casellas. Could have been a lot of them, you know, that played an excellent game, you know. And I just give it to everybody, you know, who played in the game, you know.
Well, I was talking to Coach Mann and some of the other coaches earlier. They told me you are about 160, 170, but you play like you're 240. How do you do that?
It's just a lot of concentration. It's just a mind game out there, you know. Size, it doesn't matter, you know. You concentrate, you can do it, you know.
Well, now this is your, 4th year starting for the Crabbers, right? You've been starting for...
I've been starting since 10th grade.
10th grade, 3rd year starting, so that says a lot to you. That's...
Yeah, yes, it do, you know. I'm just glad we got this 200 victory win for Coach Smith, you know. And we got against Warwick, too, you know. That's even better.
Yeah, well, next week you got another undefeated team in Phoebus, but, you know, you guys just go back to work and do your job.
Total concentration, you know. Hope we come out with victory.
Well, listen, congratulations. I'll have a plaque and a shirt for you probably Tuesday next week.
Okay, thank you.
Good enough.
All right.
Okay, Tim, let's go back up to you.
Thank you, Bob, and the congratulations to Cherry and the Hampton Crabbers as the #1 team in the state comes away with a 20-7 victory, a hard-fought victory over a fine Warwick Raider team. And the Warwick Raiders will not be long worrying about this game. They'll move on to bigger and better things, we're sure. But the Hampton Crabbers continue their winning ways. They run their record to 4-0. The Warwick Raiders fall to 3-1. The final score again, the Hampton Crabbers 20, the Warwick Raiders 7. Again, we remind you that coming up this weekend, the 5th and 6th of October, back-to-back games here at Darling Stadium. If you can't be out for both of them, come on out for at least one of the games. You'll enjoy your evening out. 7:30 game time here at Darling Stadium. Hampton and Phoebus, Bethel and Kecoughtan. For Bob Hens, this is Tim Cole and the entire crew. Thanks for watching. Good afternoon, everybody.